Yes, a lot more than those other guys. Bankruptcies, repos, collections, no problem at all. At Elk Grove Kia, we say yes. And with no hefty down payments needed, Elk Grove Kia says yes to making your car dreams a reality. So why wait? Experience the biggest savings and the best car buying experience at Elk Grove Kia. Come see us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or check out our website at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Experience a golf tournament as refined as you are. The Fortinet Championship returns to Silverado Resort September 14th through the 17th. Be there as the best of Napa meets the best of the PGA Tour. With wine experiences, rockin' shows, and incredible golf. It's like this weekend was made for you. The Fortinet Championship, September 14th through the 17th. For tickets, go to FortinetChampionship.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Rilott with your Sactown Sports headlines. The 49ers had their first preseason game of the year where they lost 34-7 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Trey Lance was 10 of 15 on the day, throwing for 112 yards and 1 touchdown, and Sam Darnold was 5 of 8 in the game, throwing for 84 yards. Niners will be back in action this Saturday when they host the Denver Broncos. You can listen to Saturday's game right here on Sactown Sports. The James Harden situation has gone from bad to worse this weekend between Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers. It was reported during the weekend that the 76ers ended trade talks involving James Harden. And this morning in China at an Adidas media event, Harden called 76ers general manager Daryl Morey a liar and said he will never be a part of an organization that he is a part of. Those are your headlines. Now let's get started with Whitey and Watkins.
They're going to take it for a W.
At your desk, on your phone, in the car. It's a show specifically for you, Sacramento. Whitey.
She got a new song out of this anyway. Hoops, I did it again. So that's right. Hello, is this on?
Nope. Watkins.
I'm sorry. I know I don't want to be the wet blanket on everybody.
It's Whitey and Watkins, and it starts.
Hurry up!
Now.
I have a feeling that this is going to be one of those weird, volatile, up and down, crazy stuff happening weeks. One of the reasons I say that is because just before we started the show, maybe you've heard, this is a bizarre story. Chris, I think you know more about it than I do. Michael Orr is claiming that his adoption was a lie.
This is
from The Blind Side.
Yeah, this could be the week of liars.
Yeah,
I think it's the week of liars officially.
Yeah,
we're off to a booming start. But yeah, allegedly, I haven't read much because, like you said, it just dropped maybe like 10 minutes ago on ESPN. But they're reporting here that former NFL player Michael Orr, who's more publicly known as the subject of that movie, The Blind Side, has petitioned a court Monday with allegations that Sean and Leanne Toohey never actually adopted him and instead tricked him into signing a document making them essentially his guardians and enriching themselves. There's a report that the family signed off on the rights to the movie, in which the royalties go to both the parents and to their two children, not Michael Orr, who received $0 for the film, and the family or the movie grossed over $300 million. So he's alleging that story. just a horrible situation, and again, just kicking off the week of liars.
Yeah, what looked like such a great, feel-good story, and now maybe not.
Yeah, didn't like the movie in the first place, though. I guess
love that movie.
Really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought it was very corny, very cringe, in my opinion. Especially Sandra Bullock.
I just didn't think she deserved the Academy Award.
Yeah,
Michael, you get in here.
Yeah,
Here's your Academy Award.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Wow. Never seen acting like that before. Yeah. So
that's unfortunate.
Unfortunate turn. Yeah.
Everybody loved it except Michael Orr from the get-go. Was like, it's not really how it happened.
And he didn't want the story really told in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, he was really hesitant to have his story told. And it just adds a terrible spin on that whole movie.
I don't know that they'll make a movie about yesterday, but I'm thinking maybe Trey Lance doesn't want the story told him the way he played yesterday. I mean, maybe I'm being too harsh because it's preseason and everything.
No, I don't think you're being too harsh at all. Definitely, I think Trey would like all of those films, all those tapes burned, and the Niners should probably want it burned as well, because if their goal was to make Lance a more appealing trade candidate, I would say that yesterday probably took it the opposite way.
What about that touchdown pass he threw?
Where do we even start? Where do we start with that? I mean, it was technically a touchdown. They did score and they got 6 points for it, but he tried. He really tried to throw an interception there, about as close as you can to making a terrible play. I tweeted out Trey Lance. All you could say after that, he's a playmaker.
Yeah,
playmaker. He made that play. That play happened because Trey Lance threw that ball. And that's just a fact. That's really the most positive spin I can give to that.
One of the analysts for the Raider telecast showed last night on NFL Network. They had Rich Gannon. They also had Matt Millen. It's like, man, wow, these are two really good analysts. But of that touchdown pass, Rich Gannon said, bad decision, bad throw, touchdown. So
yes, that really sums it up. I mean, the guy was open, but the problem was he was open about 1 second to 2 seconds before Lance actually threw the ball. And then by the time he threw it there, I mean, the DB was able to recover, tip the ball out right to Ross Dwelly. Was that who it was who caught that touchdown? Right place, right time for him. But realistically, that's probably should be an interception. At the least, it should have been a batted ball and a really bad decision.
The one thing that I think, if Kyle were being honest, that he would say to everybody, and, he doesn't have to be, and he's not supposed to be, but I'll bet you behind closed doors, he's saying, man, he got to get the ball out.
Yeah, the
passer rating was really good.
Yeah,
which that takes into account that he threw a touchdown pass when he really didn't. But still, his passer rating was very good. However, the sacks don't come into play there.
Right,
he had 4 sacks,
and his other could have been interception as well. Towards the end of the half.
Right, these numbers definitely lie.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think this is going to be a good test to see who actually watched the game. If anyone tells you, just by looking at Lance's numbers, 10 of 15, 112 yards passing, a touchdown, no interceptions.
What were you doing Sunday?
Sounds like
you clearly weren't watching that
Sounds
game.
like a successful game to me. But then if anybody who watched it would have left that game incredibly unimpressed, at least, or at least feeling like, well, I definitely don't feel more positive about the Trey Lance experience. I mean, even in the plays in which when they finally were able to get the offense going a little bit and get any sort of momentum, I think the first 2 or 3 drives or 3 and outs, it was him holding on to the ball too long. Even when he would make the plays, it was like, okay, throw. And then it would take a second or two for him to actually release the ball. It was him just being a little bit too comfortable in the pocket. And you could tell that his timing just, it's not there. And I don't know if it's a quick little fix. It looks like he's really far away in terms of processing the game.
Aiden O'Connell lapped him yesterday.
Yeah. He looked like number 4 on the Raiders. I mean, if you squint a little, you're like, is that Derek Carr out there? I mean, he looked really, really impressive, which you could also say was another element of the 49ers that looked really bad, was just their defense in total. I mean, their defensive line, I thought Kinlaw played really well. It looked like he was getting pressure consistently, but besides him and Farrell, there was really not many positives to take from their defense. The linebackers were getting killed in zone coverage the entire time. The Raiders tight ends were feasting, and at no point did it look like the Raiders really had any struggle at all. And they really dictated everything. It's really strange because, I mean, it's really a continuation of what we were hearing on Thursday and Friday, that the Raiders were just straight up dominating the Niners. And that definitely continued all the way through Sunday.
I understand the narrative that, it's just one preseason game and it doesn't mean anything. But the thing about Trey Lance is at some point he's got to play well.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
Whether the Niners, are they been fair to him when they try to play him? He gets hurt, and it's no one's fault that his, seniors or his last season in college was wiped out by the pandemic. But you can just see it's not quite happening the way it needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just one game. Well, at some point, it's got to happen.
It's got to show. I mean, this is year 3 for Trey Lance, and he's had some time to get accustomed to NFL speed and NFL timing, and he still looks like a guy who has not played any NFL games. You know, I know he's played or started 2 to 3 games in his NFL career, and it just looks like he's still at square one, and that's not where this 49ers offense needs to have their quarterback if they want to realistically have any championship aspirations. I kind of understand now why we were hearing, even though, you know, Steve Weish and Rich Eisen both, you know, backpedaled from their stance. They might want to say, oh, no. Actually, I did say that, and I did hear that, because this, after yesterday, was the first time I truly would believe that the 49ers would just cut ties with Trey Lance. He looked that bad. And I will, you know, this is massive caveat as well. The offensive line did him zero favors.
True.
I mean, he had pressure in his face the entire time, got sacked on his first play and on the third play of the game. So, I mean, it was consistent pressure, but
at least one
Lance
of those
didn't
sacks
help
was
himself
on him. And
yeah.
the thing is, yeah, you're right.
At least, yeah.
But the other side of that coin is, you know, going into the game, you got backups in front of you.
Exactly.
You know you're not going to have much time. So it's even more important to get it out.
If anything, yeah, it shows a lack of awareness. Like you're saying, like everybody knows that those are backups in the situation. And sometimes you're going to be more times than not, you're going to be facing pressure in an NFL game, and you're going to have to adjust to that. And it just didn't look like Lance had the capabilities of getting the ball out quick. I mean, if anything, it looked like he was over-reading, you know, over-analyzing his reads.
Just not trusting what he saw. Do I see that?
Yeah.
You know, I think too late.
You could see the processing power happening in real time, and at no point did it just feel like he was out there. And the only time it felt like he was in his element or like just going out there and playing the game was when he would scramble out. And even then, he would make some questionable decisions, but that was really the only time in which you could say, like, okay, there was something there that was unique. Him rolling out, throwing across his body, and getting a first down was impressive. But, you know, besides that, there really wasn't much that would have had you feeling positive about his performance.
Dwayne Baker on the chat. How is it that people can't say that Lynch and Shanahan failed on trading up for him? They are excuses for Lance at this point.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about that to me is that I asked people at the time, you know, why would Kyle Shanahan give up so much to get a guy that hasn't played much?
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer Lee Chan with NBC Sports Barry, she said, you know, I think Kyle likes the fact that this guy hasn't played. So then everything that he learns is going to be Kyle's way.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I think we talked about this earlier, it appears that maybe just Trey Lance wasn't far enough along to begin the training that Kyle had for him. So you got to do, wait, we got to back up to all this stuff. So yeah, it clearly hasn't worked. I think Kyle's fine with at some point soon here if they have to decide we're going to move on, because he just wants to win now.
Yeah.
As far as whose fault it was bad trade, it won't matter if they win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, Dwayne. That's certainly the way it looks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would definitely say that it's a failure at this point, no matter how you want to look at it. I think the best case scenario is that they cut their losses, and even then, you're not going to get anything near what you gave up.
What if I traded Trey Lance and Moody? If I traded them, if I packaged them both,
yeah, I think at that point you might be able to get
Moody's my guy.
Maybe a third or fourth round pick for him.
I'm kidding about Moody.
We can have that conversation later. But yeah, I mean, that was just another thing that you can add to the list of disappointing performances yesterday. It was a tough Sunday afternoon for 49ers fans, for sure.
Sammy Darnold.
He definitely looked really confident. He looked really, really competent in that offense, which is a massive compliment for Sam Darnold, and also probably exactly what Kyle Shanahan wanted to see. I think from the start, and you've kind of been on it, I think Sam Darnold is very much a Kyle Shanahan system kind of guy. And it makes a whole lot more sense after watching. And, you know, I'm trying, this is definitely overreacting to one preseason football game.
That's
but
what we do.
It definitely looked like, you know, if you were to be starting week 1 and let's say Brock Purdy misses the plane, I think he's a lot more comfortable going with Sam Darnold than Trey Lance.
Nick Wagner, I think it was, ESPN said, this has really been a battle and there's not much separation between Lance and Darnold. And he said after the game yesterday, I still don't think there's much separation. And I disagree with that. For what it's worth in one game. It's not like he can't be made up in the next game or in the practices or combination thereof. No. But there was separation yesterday.
I mean, Sam Darnold was dealing with the same, if not a worse line than what Lance had to deal with. And to your point earlier, he knew that he had to get the ball out. Now, it did seem like Darnold had a little bit more protection, but nonetheless, I think Darnold proved that he's just a much better fit in that offense. I mean, when Trey was under center, they didn't get they got the 7 points, which was their only points of the game, but at no point did it look like, okay, they can manufacture multiple drives together. And in Sam Darnold's drive and a half, or 2 drives, it looked like, the offense just ran a whole lot more smooth.
With Trey Lance under center, the 49ers are actually the 4th and Niners. I'm sorry.
4th and Niners. It was a lot. It was a lot of really long third downs, and then just nothing on third down. So that's not a terrible nickname. I've as we learned last week, I'm not allowed to give any input on nicknames. So I'll let you deal with that.
Run it through the proper channels first.
Yes, got you.
Up next, the 49ers. So we'll be right back with this. It looks like they have found a guy, maybe the guy, to take over a job that's way tougher than it looks. That's next year as we continue to sift through the wreckage of the 49ers preseason opener. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports. The Kings preseason schedule is out, and Sactown Sports has you covered. Preseason stops include Vancouver, Anaheim, San Francisco, and Sacramento, with matchups against the Raptors, Lakers, Warriors, and Jazz.
Monk in attack mode, drives inside, right to the rim. Well, that's the dagger right there. I think the Warriors fans sensed that with that breakdown, the Warriors look like a defeated ball club.
Catch all the action on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
I suffered with plantar fasciitis for almost 20 years.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life.
If you suffer with plantar fasciitis, the search for pain relief can feel like an endless and hopeless ordeal.
I would try drugstore, insoles and supports.
I've been through surgeries, foot injections.
I was trying all different things. Not a single one worked.
If you think you've tried everything to relieve your foot pain, you probably haven't tried arch supports from the Good Feet store.
And then I was driving past the Good Feet store, and I thought, why not? Give it a try. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support for my feet. Then it was like, okay, this is different. These make a difference.
I don't have foot pain anymore. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. It changed my life.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy, with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Come in now for a free arch support fitting and test walk.
Check out Whitey and Watkins now on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and watch the show from your desk.
The controversy over the 49er quarterback situation continues on Whitey and Watkins, and on our chat here, Dwayne Baker says if there isn't much separation, that doesn't say much for Darnold. Benjamin weighing in. Benjamin says Trey Lance will be QB2. We're overreacting to a preseason game. Daniel 916 says Trey and out.
Oh, so good. Trey and out that's really what it was. It was 3 and out every single time. It was Trey and out, and it was concerning, man. I know Benjamin's trying to say that let's not overreact, but I really think you're underreacting, because there was one positive throw that I felt Lance had, and it was that throw over the middle, I think to Chris Conley, I want to say it was, and it was a tight window, and he fit it in there. I mean, Lance showed he's got the capability of just really rocketing certain throws in there, but that's not really what this offense needs, and it wasn't consistent enough to really overshadow what the rest of his performance was. It was incredibly underwhelming.
I agree with the notion that he had an opportunity yesterday where you're going to be the starter because Purdy's not going to play. So you're the starter. We've got all this invested in you. So just, show us what you got, and you can kind of take care of this whole competition. You got a leg up here. and he couldn't do it. Now, it doesn't mean that he still can't. Doesn't mean that he can't play well this week and next week and in the other preseason game after that. But he just missed an opportunity yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's just the things that he failed to do again were the most troubling. Again, yeah, we're not saying he's done, get rid of him, but you just have to wonder if he's ever going to be able to perform at a high level in this offense when first game he struggles to see what's going on and struggles to get the ball out because he can't play in this offense. If that continues to be a problem, he can't play in this offense. He can't run it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like it. It really seems like he's really far behind right now. And it's the situation the Niners are in, like you're saying, it's not really one that's for a developmental quarterback, which it still appears he needs tons of reps. And with how the 49ers are positioned right now, they can't afford to just give developmental reps. Every rep has to be, okay, we're trying to win this game to the best of our ability because they have Super Bowl aspirations. Maybe if this were a different team or a different situation, it would make a little bit more sense to go through some lumps to hopefully get to the other side. And maybe the other side is a lot more fruitful than where you're at now. But the Niners are trying to win a Super Bowl right here, right now, and they need a quarterback who can put the ball in positions to let their playmakers go and make plays. And it's about faith and it's about trust. And I just don't think that Trey Lance has either of those things from Kyle Shanahan. I don't think that Kyle believes that he's truly the best quarterback available. And it to me, after watch it looked like the other two guys that played yesterday, Sam Darnold and Brandon Allen, are a lot more of just, okay, if these guys have to come in, I'm okay. I just know that they're going to run our stuff. It might not look elite at any point, but it's not going to look really terrible like it might with Trey Lance. Yeah, you could get some spectacular plays with Trey Lance, but you also might get some really, really terrible plays. And I just don't think those other guys would lend themselves to that level of risk that Lance might provide.
Sam Darnold and Brendan Allen know how to come in and get this offense moving.
Yes.
Maybe not at a high level, we'll see, but they know how to get in there and get it headed in the right direction. Yeah. And Trey Lance is still trying to prove that he can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Lance had his first 2 or 3 drives just completely stall. And it was very clear. I mean, it was just very, very clear if you watch the game that the offense looked significantly worse with Trey Lance running it. And again, the offensive line definitely had a good amount to do with that. But Trey also did himself no favors. I mean, he was that's kind of supposed to be a situation in which Trey thrives in. When everything's breaking down, go make a play, go turn a loss into a win. And he just never really turned any of those pocket collapsing into some miraculous, he rolls out, breaks a tackle and makes a run for it or hits a wide open guy down the field. It was just all pretty unspectacular. And like I said, you could really tell his processing power. You could really see that the wheels were churning in his head as he was trying to make decisions.
There's also this, in all fairness to him, it's obvious that he wants to be the quarterback somewhere. Mm-hmm. And the 49ers, rightly or wrongly, in their mind, they have their guy. Mm-hmm. If you saw Albert Breer's piece today at SI.com, 49ers feel like Brock Purdy is the guy for maybe a decade. They feel like we may have finally found our guy. Again, that they could be wrong, but the point is that that's what they think. Mm-hmm. So if they look at it that way, where does Trey Lance fit in, really?
He doesn't.
He doesn't want to be a backup.
No, he doesn't want to be a backup at all, and rightfully so. I mean, he was picked highly. He's got a reputation that he's trying to save at this point. He wants to prove it's not his fault. He wants to prove that this is the situation he was put in, and he's tried to make the best of it, and it just was never going to be a good fit for him. But he's not with his play and with how uncomfortable he's looked. He just hasn't done himself many favors to even get an opportunity somewhere else at this point. I mean, he's kind of being showcased, it seems, and he's just not really showcasing his abilities. And I don't know if anyone's going to convince themselves after watching yesterday and what we've heard from camp leading into yesterday that this is a guy that I'd be willing to bet on. Sure, maybe somebody is willing to take a small risk on it. Again, if it's a 5th, 6th, 7th, maybe even a 4th round pick, which seems excessive at this point, you could take a risk and it's a free flyer on a guy, but I don't think anybody's going to realistically convince themselves that this guy could be somebody that we bet on and see fruits of that for 10 to 12 years.
Putting the quarterback situation aside, because we'll certainly come back to it, what do you think is the one thing in football, or one of the things in football, that is more difficult than it appears to be? I have one thing in mind. Doesn't mean I'm right. But the 49ers are looking for somebody to perform this task, and it looks like they may have found him. You played football.
What would
recently.
be the toughest thing?
Something that is a lot harder than it looks in football, which you could probably say all of it.
I mean, yeah, pretty much all of it. But I mean, just being a quarterback in general, I would say it's pretty tough. Making reads over the middle, that kind of thing.
To me, one of the things that's a lot harder than it looks is fielding a punt.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
And it looks like
you have to have a sense for tracking. No, you have to have a sense for tracking
at you, and they're spinning irregularly. Some kickoffs tend to go end over end. Kickoffs aren't easy, but a punt is like, okay, do I fair catch?
Right.
Anyway, when they lost McLeod to the broken wrist last week, they needed to find somebody who can return kicks and field punts.
Yes.
Because anybody remembers the NFC Championship game against the Giants, and what was that, 2012? You know that it's important to be able to field punts. And it looks like Ronnie Bell may be that guy.
Yeah,
and
it appeared so.
Ronnie Bell's like, who's this guy? Rookie wide receiver. He played out of the backfield yesterday. He had a really good game, and it looks like they may have found their replacement for Ray McLeod, and that's big.
Yeah, no, I thought the return game was actually one of the few, if not only, positives for the Niners. Ronnie Bell had a couple really good returns. I thought he showed out. I think he's actually the one who dropped the ball that led to a Brandon Allen interception. So as a receiver, definitely left some left to be desired. But I really thought him and Jameson also returned a couple kicks as well. Looked really, really good. And I thought that was, like you said, I thought it was going to be a hole for this team, especially after Ray went down. Not an easy thing to replace. I mean, Kyle was bringing up, I think jokingly, saying Kyle Juszczyk is one of the better trackers of punts.
Catch it.
Exactly. And if you're talking about your fullback potentially being your kick returner or punt returner, that probably says that you're pretty desperate. And the fact that they have two guys apparently that seem like they would be more than capable of holding down that job, I think is absolutely a positive to take from this preseason game, if there is any positives to take.
Sean Belland on the chat says, if Lance were a 6th rounder, he'd already be gone. ... Right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, no question about it. 100%. Like, there's no way that they would be continuing to give him opportunities. And after his performance yesterday, frankly, probably would have been cut if they were truly in a 3-person competition for the backup quarterback slots, and 2 of them have to get it. It would definitely appear that Trey Lance would have been the odd man out after yesterday's performance, but that's just not the case. He wasn't a 6th-round pick. He was the number 3 pick in the NFL draft, who they traded 3 first-round picks for. So, that's unfortunately not it.
You don't draft yourself.
Exactly. No, you do not. And he did not say, hey, 49ers, you should trade everything you have in order to get me. But that's the situation he's in. So he's going to be given every single opportunity possible until it's just absolutely not going to happen.
Running out of those opportunities.
He definitely is.
He hasn't run out
absolutely.
Yet, but we're approaching them.
We got 2 more preseason games.
I got a question. Do we even need an NFL preseason? We tackle that next year. Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports, of course.
Sactown.
Whitey and Watkins. Sactown Sports.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Enjoy the prime grilling season today with a new lifetime warranty Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. My personal Napoleon P500 series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro. Napoleon Prestige grills, versatile grilling for every occasion. Form, function, and luxury can come in the same package. Just go to your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply for the best selection today, or visit Napoleon.com for a dealer near you.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life and your choices with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age, but there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Uma?
Yep, switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at Uma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pi customer.
As a small business, we're always looking for ways that we can offer the quality product and get some cost savings.
Meet Michelle from J.J. Pfister Distilling Company, a small business in California. When looking for workers' comp coverage tailored to the company's needs, she discovered Pi Insurance.
We heard about Pi Insurance being geared for a small business, gave Pi a call, and ended up switching.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at trypi.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate, so your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
We saved about 30% off of our workers' comp insurance when we switched to Pi.
It's as easy as pie to get the savings you deserve. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pi. Or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
Everyone knows that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers. And that's especially true when it comes to your air conditioning system.
A precision tune-up and professional cleaning costs a little bit up front, just $87, but will prevent much bigger, more expensive, and inconvenient problems later.
We actually replace systems all the time from people who don't get annual tune-ups. They either forget or they just don't realize it's important. So instead of their systems lasting 12 or more years like they should, they need to be replaced in just 6 or 7 years.
Don't risk it. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Call Bell Brothers for an $87 air conditioner precision tune-up today and keep your system clean, energy efficient, and in good working shape.
Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234 or online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
No surprise guys, Bell Brothers.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical pool, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2. Brought to you by Shane Company, Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, and the United States Marines.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlotte with your Sactown Sports headlines. The 49ers had their first preseason game of the year where they lost 34-7 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Trey Lance was 10 of 15 on the day, throwing for 112 yards and a touchdown. And Sam Darnold was 5 of 8, throwing for 84 yards. The Niners will be back in action this Saturday when they host the Denver Broncos. You can listen to the game right here on Sactown Sports. The James Harden situation has gone from bad to worse this weekend between Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers. It was reporting during the weekend that the 76ers ended trade talks involving James Harden. And this morning in China at an Adidas media event, Harden called 76ers general manager Daryl Morey a liar and that he will never be a part of an organization that he is a part of. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
Hey, I got to tell you, Ken Brown is mad on the chat.
What's wrong, Ken? Why are you mad?
Ken wants to know, why don't punters practice punting out of bounds? I'm going to assume he sounds kind of like Tommy Lee Jones. I don't know. Why don't punters practice punting out of bounds?
I don't care.
So that there can't be punt returns. The Coffin Corner punts. So he's mad. He wants to see punters practice. I think they do, Ken.
I'm pretty
I've never
sure
been a
they
special
do.
teams coach.
Yeah. And that's just an assumption. I assume they would. I mean, there's like a whole like football practice going on in punters and kickers. I assume the entire practice, just practice kicking. I would assume that involves just about everything. I mean, they can't really, there's no point in them hitting sleds or anything. So
Coffin Corner does seem to be kind of a lost art.
Yeah, definitely now. I mean, it seems like everybody just kind of punts it in hopes that your returner doesn't grab it. And I guess now the real skill isn't kicking it into the corner. It's getting, enough backspin or perfect amount of, end over end spin to kind of get it to stop right at the goal line. That's kind of like the new wave. But, sure, if someone were to get proficient enough in Coffin Corner, I think it would be helpful. I just think it's a really tough thing to do. And then, you also don't add in the variable of if they catch it, you could potentially get the ball back. You could force a turnover. Anything can happen. Whereas if you put it out of play, it's just their ball and, you get no say in it.
I think now too, you've got, okay, what are my choices if you're a coach and you're in that area of the field? I can go for it, which more teams do.
Right.
I can kick a field goal because kickers kick the ball further than they used to, or I can punt of those.
Right.
And I know and sometimes, neither of those is really an option, but I think teams are more likely to try for the points. There
Yeah, always.
And I think punting, try to punt it out of bounds. Never been a punter, but if you miss a little bit, great 20-yard punt.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. You could try and really aim it inside the 5, but it just goes off of one of your laces or something and it goes out at the 20 and it's
Mr.
like
Shankopoulos shows up and all of a sudden, hey, all right.
Yeah, it's just there's
We
not as much
met 11
positive,
yards.
yeah,
Way to
there's
go.
Not as much positive result in just kicking it out of bounds, but if somebody felt confident enough in doing it,
I'm gonna guess
sure.
Ken is an old high school punter.
Yeah,
that's gonna be my guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's also I do miss the Coffin Corners. It's a real skill that punters could have, but it never felt like anyone got like excellent enough at it to where it would be like a real weapon that you could use.
Ray Guy's name and Sean, excuse me, I almost said Sean Cunningham. Ray Guy's name and Randall Cunningham's name come up as punters.
Really? Was Randall, did he kick?
I think he could.
Like, would they do that thing where it's like, oh, they're going to go for it?
Quick kick.
Punt it out. See, that I would
And
like
I don't
to
know if
see
Sean
more of
Cunningham
that.
ever did that or
I'm
not.
sure Sean.
Didn't Cordell Stewart, didn't he punt a couple times?
Cordell
Slash.
Stewart. What a name. Yeah, I forgot about
He did
Cordell
everything.
Stewart. Yeah, he did. He played a little receiver too, didn't he? I was a big Cordell Stewart guy. That's like a real blast from my past. It's like childhood memory.
I mean, he was selling cleats like back in the day, like it was
Really?
Michael Vick.
Really? Oh, I do not. Oh man.
He was exciting.
Yeah, he was
Because
not.
it was like, what's he
he
gonna
was
do?
not good, but
Yeah.
yeah, he was exciting.
He
for
was
sure.
pretty good.
Not
But
as a
that season-
quarterback. Not as a quarterback.
Yeah, not as your pure, passer.
Definitely not. No. What is he? Bears and Steelers, I remember. from
Steelers
my
where he really
childhood.
became
Yeah.
Slash.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was his nickname, Slash?
Yeah, because he's a quarterback slash receiver
something else.
slash runner
That's a
slash-
fantastic
Yeah.
nickname. Oh my God. That's great. I'd never heard that before. That's
Plus,
great.
as he slashed.
He
through the-
slashes through the defense. Sure.
By the way, we appreciate your helping us out. Chat, shooting us a text, give us a call. If you care to help with this as well, we'd appreciate it. Go to Sactown Sports and check out our fundraiser for the Hawaii Community Foundation. And every time I see the pictures, we talked about it Friday.
Terrible.
I just can't fathom how that could have happened.
Yeah.
It's like, well, a bomb didn't go off. How did?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a fire in the middle of a hurricane. I mean,
we all
just
know that.
terrible.
Our foundation, we started with a $15,000 donation on behalf of Bonneville. We've raised a lot of money. 100% of the money we receive will go directly to help the people in Maui. Yeah. So if you get a chance, check it out. We appreciate it. Just taking a look there. We know not everyone's in position to help, but if you are,
Yes.
We really, really appreciate it.
Yes, it would go a long way. Even a little donation, if it's $1, if it's $5, whatever you can give is more than enough.
Much
and
appreciated.
Very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So many of us, we've all had some really good times there.
Yeah. Oh
hope
yeah.
to again.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said the other day, it's typically thought of as like a place you go to vacation and that's really it. But there are residents there that live there every day and make it the beautiful place that we all enjoy. And yeah, I mean, just hope that they can find any sort of semblance of normalcy after this.
Yeah, they will. It'll just take a while.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take a while. I mean, yeah, like you said, the scenes, every time you see it's like just entire communities just
sense.
burned down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Reminiscent of the wildfire we had over here a couple of years ago, where just an entire devastation throughout the entire community. So yeah, and any little bit goes a long way.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we appreciate that. Do we need preseason football in the NFL? Do we even need it?
I think so. You presented this question. I think you asked it the other day as well, and I understand the question, because I mean, no casual fan is going to watch 4 quarters of every single preseason game. And even now, they've tried to reduce it. It's down to 3 preseason games now.
We didn't have a lot of starters playing yesterday.
None,
That's what
pretty
made me
much
think
none
of it.
on the Niners side. Yeah, it in that part makes sense, but I think that coaches, like the GMs as well, they need these games to really figure out the end of the 53-man roster. Obviously, there's no questions to all the 49ers stars and who's going to play and who's going to start and who's obviously going to be making the team, but you got to figure out like this quarterback situation for the Niners, or how does this rookie ready to go if somebody goes down, or is there a lot more that he still needs to do? Like, I think it's more for figuring out the fringe rotation guys on your roster and trying to see how far back those guys are from potentially earning playing time, because realistically, a lot of these guys, and that's what's most concerning to me about this Niners game, is a lot of these guys are one play away from stepping in the game, and you got to know which, in the pecking order, who do you feel comfortable with putting into real NFL action if somebody goes down?
I just feel like it's a kind of a bait and switch, because you love football, right? All right, you're going to pay full price for these tickets to this game.
Yeah,
it doesn't count, but it's still the Raiders and the 49ers. Okay, the first stringers aren't going to play, but still, and people watch it on TV, but it's just not. It's
definitely not it.
Can't they just determine the things they need to determine, as you pointed out, through the joint practices? I think eventually we're going to get down to maybe 1, because where this is going. We're going to have a longer regular season.
Yes. Yeah. Where they're
17, and then they'll get to 19, maybe 20. If they ever get to 20, then they won't have a preseason, but they will have to have like 2 different rosters.
Yeah.
People are not going to make it through all
exactly.
season.
Yeah. There's no way. I think 2 is probably the right number. 1 to kind of get those guys figured out, and then maybe like a slight ramp up game. But
0 to 1 seems like the right number to me. But I said, I remember when they had 6.
Yeah, 6 is
there's no preseason in college.
Right.
That's a fair point for sure. I think joint practices aren't quite enough, because even Shanahan mentioned this with somebody, I can't remember, or it might have been the Vikings or someone that I'm getting confused with, but there's a difference between like practice play and game play, and some guys, they're just ball, like they're just, once the lights are on and they're at their brightest, they perform differently. And I think that's an important thing to also know as well. Like there's some guys who kind of, especially when you're in the middle of camp, you kind of just get through the day, and to the player it might not seem like that big of a deal, but to coaches who are watching every single little bit, that can really make the difference, where in a game you just have a different level of energy. And it's important for GMs and coaches to see, okay, this is not the guy that I've been seeing the past week at practice. This is clearly somebody who has a lot more to give, and when things are at its most important and the stakes are higher, he clearly steps his game up. And that's just not something you can know until you get actual game time. And a lot of these guys during the regular season just can't get on the field. Otherwise.
I just always feel like somebody, maybe Jerry Jones or somebody, like, thanks for the money, sucker.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean,
I get it and I love it. But
from the fan perspective, absolutely. Like these games should be free. They obviously will never do that, but to attend these games, it should be incredibly discounted. The concessions should be discounted, all that. To go to these games is, the fans are doing the organizations a service by going to these games. There's no reason why.
Someday when the regular season's longer, we'll be down to 1, maybe no preseason games.
Yes. I'm okay with joint practices. Like I think the morning show might have suggested that, just televise
on this station.
I think so. I think they said,
they don't talk about
Then definitely don't talk about sports.
Well, I mean, J-Ross.
J-Ross tries to. He's always like, so Trey Lance was really great. And Dave's like, Trey Lance makes me think about
I went to the
popsicles.
drive-thru yesterday.
Yeah.
They didn't have my sauce.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I would be down for just more joint practices. I could see how that would be equally, if not more beneficial than these actual preseason games.
Coming up next, a Giant deserves a game ball. And I hate to say this, but some Giants fans deserve the team bus because they're really getting very whiny. Next, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Whitey
and Watkins
on Sactown Sports. Will Christian McCaffrey lead the NFL in rushing? Can Sacramento's own Eric Armstead bring his game to another level?
Prescott back steps up in the pocket. He gets sacked. Back on the 15-yard line. Get in my belly.
Get in my
says
belly.
Eric Armstead.
Will rookie Jake Moody pick up where veteran kicker Robbie Gould left off? Find out on Whitey and Watkins every day at 11 a.m. during the 49ers Focus on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
And now a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive. Well, today you can expect lots of cloud cover with 0% chance of raining on your parade because you'll be riding your motorcycle vroom vroom. That rumbling low-pressure system beneath you should give way to a relaxing commute and a sudden urge to take the scenic route everywhere you go because, dagnabbit, you're having fun out there. That's your forecast. Back to you.
This has been a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive, where every day's a beautiful day to ride with coverage from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Get a quote today and see what you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street. Right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
For nearly 20 years since Bartley Kavanaugh Golf Course opened near the banks of the Sacramento River, it's been Sacramento's #1 course for fun. Perry Dye of the famous Dye family of golf course architects designed the course to be an easy walk, but motorized carts are available as well. You and your friends of all abilities will find Bartley Kavanaugh featuring a brand new tap room is a great place to play golf. After your round, relax on the outdoor veranda overlooking the course with a cold beverage or a tasty meal. For tee times, visit BartleyCavanaugh.com. It's Sacramento's #1 course for fun.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Download the Sactown Sports app and listen to Whitey and Watkins on your smartphone.
Before we get any further, we've been talking about punters for some reason today and punt returns. And thank you, Sean. Sean mentioned, hey, not everybody can be Randall Cunningham. And he was referring to Randall Cunningham's punt in 1989, game between the Eagles and the Giants. And Max Runniger, I think, also played for the Niners for a while. He was the punter, but he was hurt or something. So Randall Cunningham, who had punted in college, asked Buddy Ryan, hey, why don't you let me punt? So they did, and he punted from his own end zone, and it was a 91-yard punt.
Whoa. What? Were they like not expecting it? I mean, I'm assuming that thing must have, I mean, obviously it didn't have 91 yards of air time. Or, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Let's see.
No way. Must have not seen it coming or
ball
something.
Sailed to the Giants 39.
That's still pretty.
And bounced to the 7.
Yeah, that's still pretty impressive.
Before a baffled Dave Meggett picked it up and returned it 9 yards. Like, what?
That's a great description. Baffled, because I could imagine he was like, yo, I was standing at like the 50 because it's the quarterback.
Yeah. I remember watching when Shane Leckler kicked for the Raiders.
Yeah.
And if you were there, and like he'd punt and you'd see the return guy.
Yeah.
And he'd go in a dead sprint the other way.
Yeah, just backwards. Yeah. It's like, I did not think I was standing far back enough to where I was like, there's no way he's gonna kick it this far. I'm being over dramatic. And then even still, you had to run full sprint to go grab it.
Supposed to be able to come up to catch it.
Right.
But you see that every so often. The returner's like, nope. Woo!
Completely
like a
wrong.
center fielder trying to track one down at the wall.
I do like how kick returners now have tried to fool the return or the kick team when they like will go to the complete opposite side of the field and act like they're catching it, and people will just swarm on the player and not actually look at the ball in the sky, which just lands on the complete. That's by far been my favorite kick return innovation in the past like 10 years is the fake catch and then just letting it drop into the end zone. Terrific
Fun play.
Stuff. Yeah, great stuff.
Kick return, not what it used to be, but
it's definitely not what it used to be. But there's punt returns seem to still be in fashion. Kick returns we were talking about earlier last week with the new kick return rules and all that, which we haven't seen really play into effect so far this preseason. But them all but eliminating the kickoff returns, seems like punt returns at the very least are still in fashion and here to stay for the moment.
Punt return, you at least have a line of scrimmage, so you don't have guys 20 yards. You have some guys, but
and you can double, the gunners on the outside, so at least they're not going absolutely full speed into a guy. The problem becomes when somebody doesn't fair catch it and clearly should, but that's almost their fault.
What drives me crazy is when somebody is called for an illegal touch because they run out of bounds.
Yes.
And then the first one touching it's like, people are watching just for that.
I know. Yeah.
If
it's
you
ridiculous.
Just came from out of bounds, don't touch it.
Just don't touch it.
What do you think? No one's going to know?
Exactly. Yeah. And they try and be really smooth about it, or not even really smooth, where they get pushed out of bounds and then just run like 15 yards out of bounds and then come in. And it's like, dude, that wasn't slick at all. I get what you're trying to do.
If I was a special teams coach or a head coach, I'd just be, you're gone.
Yeah.
What are you trying to pull?
What are you trying to deceive
anyone
anyone
you
for?
Cost us?
Come on.
It's not that hard.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. You have a very simple job. Just stay in bounds and run at the guy and, do your best to do that. Don't, there's no reason to try and get around the corners.
Monday morning game ball team bus. I want to give a game ball here. I know we've been talking a lot about the 49ers and we will continue to do so. But yesterday, the Giants had been struggling. They'd lost a couple games to the Rangers, and they're down bottom of the 10th, and they're down 2-1. So they're facing a sweep, in Bruce Bochy's return. There's 2 outs, 9th inning, a man on, Giants down a run, and Patrick Bailey did this.
So here's Patrick Bailey. Bailey to left and out of here! This game is over. I do not believe it.
That was incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bailey's
perfect
a guy.
timing.
We talked so much about the youngsters like Trey Lance and was Joey Bart for a while and James Wiseman there in the Bay Area. And then Patrick Bailey was kind of lost in the shuffle. And he's like, okay, I'm ready. He's had a great year.
Incredible.
So, yeah, that was
right over the fence too. I mean, that thing barely cleared over the fence. Perfect timing. And it just adds to Patrick Bailey's ridiculous season that's been. And, yesterday also, threw out another runner at second base. I have this quick number here that Sarah Langs put out. 1.71 second pop time on Patrick Bailey's caught stealing in the 9th inning. That's the fastest pop time to second base in MLB this season. It's also the fastest track by a Giant since the StatCast era in 2015. Bailey has the top 14 pop times from home to second
pretty
base.
good.
So, I mean, the dude is literally like he's different. He is quite literally different behind the plate. And it's become, like I said, I think a couple weeks ago, like you could really make a highlight reel of just Patrick Bailey throwing people out at second.
It's important to keep that in mind as we talk about quarterbacks like Trey Lance, because they drafted Joey Bart, then the Farhan regime, they drafted Patrick Bailey.
Mhm.
They drafted another catcher.
Mhm.
So it was apparent they weren't really high on Bart, or maybe they wouldn't have drafted him. Bailey just kind of languished.
Mhm.
Young players like, well, I guess he wasn't the guy they hoped. And then this year, no, he is. So it can always happen. But I got to throw some, not all, but some Giants fans under the team bus, because I'm so tired of all the Giants fans who are whining about, oh, they're not that good, and they're going to – do we even want to be a wild card team? And Farhan doesn't spend any money. Farhan's doing what he's told to do.
Yeah.
And the Giants are having a nice little season. And I know they've been struggling, but if the playoffs started today, which they'd be in there.
Quick check. They don't start today.
So celebrate that. Embrace that.
If anything, it's kind of a positive that in a year that fans would say the Giants aren't really trying, they're still finding success. And I know that's probably a silver lining, and you'd want your team to always be trying their hardest to acquire the best talent possible. But, I think it's really telling of a lot of fans are calling for Farhan's head, saying he's not going out there and getting the guys that we need to really compete. But it's like the dude is still putting a winning product out there, and that can't be lost in all this. And I would push back a little and say that fans have the right to be upset at them not going out there and trying to get, they are trying, but not going out there and actually getting that big bad or star player that they feel like they need. But, they're still putting out a winning product.
That's the problem with
how bad can
agents.
you really
They're
be?
free to go wherever they want to go.
Free to go wherever they want. Absolutely. It's not completely his fault. He's thrown offers out there that have been more than acceptable. It's just like you're saying. I mean, other guys have decided to, whether it be Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Carlos Correa, they've all decided to just take their talents elsewhere, and there's not really much Farhan can do about it.
They get Shohei next year.
It can really change fortunes.
All is forgiven, but I'm telling you, it's not going to happen.
It's probably not going to happen. But it
I
might.
don't think so.
But it might.
It'll be worse because he'll go to the Dodgers. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
Should I order my Dodger hat now from Fanatics?
Don't even joke about that, okay? Don't even kid about that.
That's why I'm the bad boy of media.
And I hope if that actually happens, if they sign him and you become a Dodger fan, I hope you have the good sense to keep it to yourself.
Well, you're the one who wants me to be a baseball fan. I would just be doing exactly what you've been hoping for me all year long. Wouldn't that be something? Be careful what you wish for, Whitey. You might.
Christopher Law and I would say, look,
you might just
love the guy, but if he's going to be
look,
a Dodger
I'm your
fan,
guy.
He's our guy, but he's going to have to broadcast from home remotely. Christopher Law nodding. Yeah.
Don't tempt me, guys. Do not tempt me. Oh no, I have to stay home all day, and oh no, geez.
Coming up next year, why would
I'm kidding. Sorry.
Kyle Shanahan was praising Trey Lance for that interception, praising him for that. Now, why would he do that?
Why?
That's
Let's
next year. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Most of the people that have won the MVP of the G League had little to no career in the NBA, and most of you wouldn't even know. And Cade is right there. I don't know how much more he can learn from those folks.
I don't know how much Nerlens Noel will play. I don't know how much Alex Len will play. I don't know how much Nimi Keita will play. We know Sabonis will play a ton, but they tended to go in high leverage, meaningful situations, playoff time. They go to Trey Lyles.
Absolutely.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916 520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail, the ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There was always a crowd gathered around our dining table when I was growing up. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Everyone was welcome at my mother's table, so holidays, birthdays, and celebrations always included family and friends. I used to think I was the most popular kid in the neighborhood until I realized that my friends were really there for my mother's incredible cooking. Years later, when I bought my own dining table from Naturewood, I made sure it was large enough to make friends feel welcome. And right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings Dine in Style sale, you have an opportunity to find the perfect dining room furniture to help you create your own treasured memories. Choose from casual to formal or anything in between. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings during the Dine in Style sale off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Are you on the hunt for a reliable used car? Look no further. At Elk Grove Kia, you can buy with absolute confidence. Get ready for an offer you won't be able to resist. Our certified Kias undergo a rigorous 150-point inspection, ensuring that you get a top-notch, high-quality vehicle. Say goodbye to doubts and hello to peace of mind. Qualified buyers can enjoy special finance rates, making it even easier to drive home your dream car. But that's not all. Elk Grove Kia stands by the vehicles we sell, and we want you to love your purchase. If, for any reason, you feel you made a mistake, fret not. Bring it back within the first couple of days, and we'll gladly provide a full refund. Speaking of satisfaction, Elk Grove Kia's management team boasts over 100 years of combined experience. With that kind of expertise, we know how to say yes a lot more than those other guys. Bankruptcies, repos, collections, no problem at all. We're here to help you get behind the wheel, regardless of your past. Driven by trust and customer satisfaction. Drive happy, drive confidently. Drive Elk Grove Kia.
Elk Grove Kia.
Gold Country Casino Resort Norville is proud to present one of the most powerful voices in country music.
Come on now, we're running out of moonlight.
Randy Houser, live in concert on Saturday, September 23rd.
Let me show you how. Country.
Purchase your tickets now to see all of Randy Houser's greatest hits. Only at
Gold Country Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older. Summertime and River Cats baseball are the perfect pairing. The only thing missing is you. With weekly promotions, premium giveaway games, and unique theme nights, there's fun for everyone at Sutter Health Park. Stick around post-game every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. Visit rivercats.com to purchase tickets.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. The 49ers had their first preseason game of the year where they lost 34-7 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Trey Lance was 10 of 15 on the day, throwing for 112 yards and 1 touchdown. Sam Darnold was 5 of 8 in the game, throwing for 84 yards. The Niners will be back in action this Saturday when they host the Denver Broncos. You can listen to Saturday's game right here on Sactown Sports. The James Harden situation has gone from bad to worse this weekend between Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers. It was reported during the weekend that the 76ers ended trade talks involving James Harden. And this morning in China at an Adidas media event, Harden called 76ers general manager Daryl Morey a liar, and he also said he will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Those are your headlines, and now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
So what do you do, Chris Watkins, if you're Daryl Morey now? If you got James Harden, if James Harden says, I want to be traded, I'm going to opt in, but I want to be traded, and you say, all right, well, look around, we can't trade you. Ball's in your court. James Harden says, fine, I'm not playing. Then what do you do?
Ben Simmons 2.0, I guess. I mean, this is a situation where we've seen Daryl will not budge just because a star really, really, really wants out. That's not good enough for him. It's how he got James in the first place. He was in this exact situation with Ben Simmons, who pretty much, he didn't go out and say it, but he all with his actions pretty much said, I don't want to play for the 76ers. Please trade me. And Morey stood pat and waited for a big deal to come. And it took a couple months into the season, but he eventually got that deal. And I think this is going to pan out the same way again, unless, like I've been saying this entire time, the only thing that makes a lot of sense to me is I see an unhappy situation in Portland. I see an unhappy situation here in Philadelphia. Seems to me like those two teams should come together and say, we got to figure this out. Like, I don't see any end otherwise. I don't think any team is going to budge and give in to James or Dame's request at this point.
I just think it's going to be a weird week. Could be wrong, but I have that feeling in sports that with the Harden thing coming out saying he's a liar, not going to play there, with Michael Orr today coming out and suing the family that adopted him, supposedly saying they never really adopted me. We've got the Wander Franco situation. Ugh. Wherever that's going to go.
Not touching that
one. Oh, no, I know, but there's just all those, nor should you, but there's just these strange things. I just have a feeling it's going to be that kind of week.
Yeah. No.
Maybe I'm just assuming that as a defense mechanism.
Right. Well, it would, the sports calendar has been pretty quiet recently, so we would definitely be due for some fireworks here soon. And now is seeming like the right time to do it. I mean, it's a really quiet part in the sports calendar, and if James Harden wanted to take over the headlines for a week, this would probably be a good time to do it as we're still in the early parts of football and all that. I don't think that I think we're going to hear more about this story later this week. I think Adam Silver is going to have to come out again and send another memo out to the NBA saying, hey, just to make this clear, you can't really just completely tank all of your trade value. It's not good for the league.
I guess the next move for Daryl Morey would be, fine, then you don't show up, you're not going to get paid.
You're not getting paid. Exactly. 100%. I mean, again, I will continue to say this. James Harden opted into this contract. He could have hit free agency and been a free agent. And if he really felt like he was worth a certain dollar figure, go out and get that money. Go prove it. Daryl Morey is just essentially calling his bluff. And I know they might have had a handshake agreement last season, but hey, man, like you gotta prove your value. I'm not going to pay you.
That's the problem
just
with handshake agreements.
Exactly. Exactly. And James is the fool, honestly, in this situation. If someone's going to if you agree to money that will be paid, sign for said money. Don't agree that you'll get paid in the future. That never or rarely works out.
Was it Blake Griffin? I could be wrong. Where he thought, I thought we had a no trade agreement. It wasn't, it wasn't written down or anything, but
yeah,
I thought we had.
We did until we didn't.
You do or you don't.
Exactly.
And can you show it to me?
Exactly.
Can you answer this question for me? We all know the touchdown pass that Trey Lance threw yesterday. It kind of skewed his stats. Yes. I know Matt Barrows at the time said Trey Lance, when he threw the touchdown pass against the Raiders, at the time, his passer rating after the touchdown was 127.1.
Oof.
And I think he ended up at 111. So he throws a touchdown pass and 127.1. If that pass had been intercepted, his passer rating would have been 32.8.
That's a lot different.
Yeah.
That's a completely different narrative.
Do numbers lie? Do statistics lie? Sure.
Sometimes they definitely do.
But here's my question. Why would Kyle Shanahan, after the game say this about that play? Lance made a heck of a play on the touchdown. I know it was almost a heck of a play for them with the pick, but that was the last read on a bootleg. It flashed, and he put it on him. The guy came in and tipped it, made a good play, but fortunately, Dwelly was there. Why would the coach say that? Now, why would he say that?
Well, if the Windhorse fingers are up, and we're really trying to speculate as to why he would say that, It's because he's trying to prop up that trade value, baby. He's trying to be like, no, even when Trey seemingly fails, it's still a success. I mean, that's how great this guy is. And it's a shame that we're just so set for our quarterback, our starting quarterback, that we can't get this guy time, because even his bad plays, even when it looks bad, it still goes great. And just major kudos to Trey for that. That's the only explanation, because it was a terrible throw. It was a terrible decision. He was late on the read. It might have been the last option for him to go to, but even then he read it late, and really, frankly, that should have been another turn.
Even if he felt that, Trey's needs some support here, he doesn't need me to bash him publicly.
Right, yeah.
You didn't have to go that far.
You could have made a joke of it. It was a joke of a play, so you could have, well, sometimes, you'd rather be lucky than good, I guess. And, whatever, just say something. You don't have to actually, it's almost like degrading to compliment him on that play, because it's like, we all have eyes. We all saw the
Coach,
play.
Come on, Coach, what? Rich Gannon, I know I mentioned this before. Rich Gannon doing the game. He was one of the Raiders analysts. He said, bad read, bad throw, touchdown. And that's a quarterback. That's not somebody who, I don't know if he knows football.
It was lucky at best. And frankly, I mean, it was a bad throw. Like, he was a second too late. I'm not saying the receiver wasn't open. He was wide open, but he threw it like just a half second or a second too late, enough time for the DB to get there. And, frankly, it was blown coverage in the first. He just should have had it there a second or so before, and it would have been a great touchdown, and we probably wouldn't even be talking much about the touchdown. It just would have been, oh yeah, Trey saw an open receiver, hit it right in front of his face in the back of the end zone. Not much to say, but he kind of turned it into a play that didn't have to be as much of a nail biter as it was.
And then we'll just,
that's what it seems like.
See what happens.
Gonna figure it out.
I agree with you. I read that and I think, okay, I think I know where this is headed, and it could still change because there's still games to be played before the season starts. I think Kyle Shanahan's thinking Sam Darnold's pretty good. I'm lucky. I finally have him in my system. Yeah. Trey's just not working, but we'll showcase him here. He'll make some good plays. If he makes bad plays, we'll say they're good plays, and maybe we'll get something for him.
Yeah, I mean,
but again, rightly or wrongly, I'm not saying they should think that, but to me, it's pretty clear that's where this is headed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Shanahan's tanking Trey Lance and giving him, poor play calls or anything, but
he wants him to play well now.
It seems, it's just strange to me, or not strange, but it's funny to me that Kyle Shanahan is really setting himself up to have the ultimate flex season. If he can have Mr. Irrelevant from last year and Sam Darnold as his number 2 and still bring this team to really big heights, if he can take them to a NFC championship game with Mr. Irrelevant and Sam Darnold, who statistically has been like one of the worst, bottom 10 quarterbacks in the NFL since he's played, that's such a massive flex. And again, pointing to something that you pointed at so brilliantly last week, that he doesn't want playmakers. At the quarterback position, he wants people who will do exactly what he says to do when he says to do it. And that's it. That's all he needs. He doesn't need all the bells and whistles.
He doesn't need a fighter pilot or a brilliant pilot. He needs an astronaut to press the right buttons. Now, not everyone can be an astronaut.
No.
Not everyone can do that, but more of a technician.
Exactly. Yes. He just needs someone who can throw a nice ball, put it accurately, doesn't have to zip it in, doesn't have to make tight window throws, doesn't have to extend plays with his legs. Obviously, if he can, that's just a bonus. But
and that's what he thought he was getting in Trey Lance.
That's exactly what he was hoping that this would be.
I'm going to mold this guy who doesn't know that much about football to be one of my guys, but he can do so much more than any of these other guys I've had before.
But the problem was, didn't even have that foundation. And I think that's what they've been finding out this last 3 years, is that Trey Lance, they knew he was going to be raw. They knew that there was going to have to be some molding done, but they kind of assumed that there was a base level of a standard quarterback there. And I think that we've all seen here, he just never had the reps. It was the big talking point. He didn't get a lot of college reps, lost his entire senior season, didn't play much at all his rookie year. He just hasn't had the reps.
Isn't there? There's still time.
I don't think there's
this team. 2 more exhibition games.
I don't think for this team. He can maybe prove that he can earn a roster spot by looking more comfortable in these next 2 preseason games. But I think the ship has sailed on if Brock Purdy goes down, Trey Lance is going to be that number 2. It just feels like they're far, far away from that. I mean, I would be
You're not
really
that guy,
nervous.
pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
I think Trey wants out too.
I would
I'm not
think
going to
so.
be the guy. I want to play somewhere. I don't want to sit. And he really, how's that going to help him? You're the backup. Congratulations. You're not going to play.
Right. It's only going to kill his value, and it's going to, kill his free agency as well. I think, he definitely, if things don't work out after this preseason, I would suspect he's probably going to request a trade. I mean, it makes the most sense for him to find a different situation and just work it out there.
I think he'll already be gone by then.
That could happen. I mean, after yesterday, I really don't think it's an overreaction.
It's a preseason game.
I really don't think it's an overreaction to look at how uncomfortable he looked yesterday. Whatever. I just think with how bad he looked yesterday.
But I got a badger.
Looked like it's far steps away.
But don't just take it from us. Coming up, hear from an ex-NFL quarterback who says, "Yeah, I don't know that Trey Lance can play in Kyle Shanahan's offense." That's coming right up here with Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Whitey and Watkins. Sactown Sports.
Will Brandon Ayuk emerge as a star in the Bay this season?
Now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk.
Can Fred Warner lead the Niners defense to another deep playoff run?
And Fred Warner with the INT.
Pick City, baby.
Will Brock Purdy hold on to his starting quarterback job?
Purdy going to drop back to pass, try to run forward and go to the end zone standing.
Down and Purdy, baby.
Tune into Niners at 9 every day on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
On Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Did you know the average person walks 100,000 miles in their lifetime? It's true. That's a whole lot of stress, strain, and pressure ultimately put on 2 feet. Hi, DC Doug Christie here for the Good Feet store. As a spokesperson for Good Feet, I run into all sorts of surprising foot-related facts. Like despite relatively few Americans being born with foot issues, over time, 75% of all adults will experience painful foot or foot-related problems. By supporting all 4 arches of the foot, the Good Feet 3-step arch support system can help return your foot and whole body to its proper alignment. Come to the Good Feet store for a free, no obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk. Experience the comfort, balance, and support of the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
At your desk, on your phone, in the car.
Whitey and Watkins.
On Sactown Sports.
Everyone thinks Christopher Watkins, is such a nice guy. Let me tell you something about the real Christopher Watkins.
I don't know
if he were the GM of the 49ers, there's one poor guy who'd already be cut today.
It's actually
already
100%. And it's not probably who anybody's thinking of. It's not a quarterback. It's a tight end. Cameron Latu. If it were me, after everything that I've heard from camp so far has been, and I was just telling Whitey this during the break. I mean, I've the only thing I've heard more than, oh my goodness, Brandon Ayuk setting camp on fire, best player out there. He might be Jesus Christ on a football field. Is that Cameron Latu is dropping literally every football that comes towards him.
Handful of drops in camp.
I'm telling you, every single day, it feels like some 49ers reporter is putting out there, Cameron Latu had a couple drops today. It's an alarming thing that's been stacking day to day.
He's a converted tight end, right?
Yeah.
I think he talks about, I'm just, I'm getting up to speed here. And
he definitely is. He's definitely getting up to speed, but I think he needs to speed it up a little bit, because even yesterday, the only catch he had was, towards the 49ers side of the field, almost in their end zone. I think Sam Darnold was someone who threw it to him, threw it to Latu. Latu he tried his hardest to drop that ball.
I have one report here that says the ball was behind him.
It was a little bit behind him for sure. It was not a perfect ball, but nonetheless, it was a ball that especially a tight end should be able to get. Almost dropped it. Okay. Win for Latu. He caught the ball. Congratulations. Almost immediately almost immediately fumbled the ball. And like, it wasn't like somebody really, yanked it out of his arms or anything. Just a tackle and, feeling for the ball and just ripped it out. And that would be enough for me after seeing just daily drops, him almost dropping that ball and then immediately fumbling. I'm good. I don't need to see anything else. I would just be done with Cameron Latu. Could be an overreaction again, but just after, I would have no patience, no tolerance for especially tight ends, backup tight ends, just dropping wide open balls and then immediately fumbling.
Denny Green.
Yes,
used to be, yeah,
absolutely.
We are who we thought they were. He used to
let him off
say,
the hook.
Drop in a football. He'd say it's un-American. He'd say every kid, and he made him so mad.
I love
He'd
that.
say every kid in America goes out in the street and throws a football. To drop a football, it's un-American.
It's like dropping the flag. You might as well drop the flag.
Yeah. It drove him nuts.
Oh, that's incredible. I could see how that would be the most, especially at a professional level. It's like, guys, like I can understand if you hear footsteps, like that's almost like a flight or flight reaction. I get it. But just plain drops, like just your typical run-of-the-mill drops, I would have no patience for at a professional level. Absolutely not.
I wouldn't either, but I'd bet you from Kyle Shanahan's standpoint, the drops in camp are one thing, but a fumble in a real game is like, no.
No, cannot turn the ball over. And that's going to be key with Sam Darnold as well, who's you mentioned the other day had 6 fumbles just last year. Yeah, I mean, you cannot turn the ball over, especially in this offense where it's systematic. You literally are just matriculating that ball down the field. Turning the ball over is an absolute killer. Yeah, you cannot have it.
I think it was 2019 when they had that great season. Breida had a really good year. And then all of a sudden he wasn't playing. And people were asking, what happened? And I looked into it and I said, I think it has to do with ball security.
Yeah.
And people would say, but he hasn't fumbled. But if you looked, it's like he had one that he recovered and another one that was called back by a penalty or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're Kyle Shanahan, it's like, no, those are fumbles.
Yeah. No, they're all the same. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a luck if you return it or not. But putting the ball on the deck is that's number one. Coaches, you cannot have it. It's just inexcusable. And yeah, it is to steal Danny. It's un-American. It is not good to fumble the ball, and it should be the thing that coaches look at as the number one that will get you taken off the field 10 out of 10 times is just putting the ball on the deck unnecessarily and turning the ball over.
Now, not to pile on Trey Lance, because I would love to see Trey Lance master this offense.
Oh, I would love extra confusion for this. Absolutely.
The way I'm reading it, it sounds to me like Kyle is close to already having his mind made up that he's not the guy. But I don't know. It's one thing for me to say it or Chris to say it. Dan Orlovsky played quarterback in the NFL. Okay, ran out of the back of the end zone one time.
That was a good game. Thank you, Jared Allen. That was a good game. That was a great game.
But Dan Orlovsky this morning on Get Up or Get Out or Wake Up or I don't
Wake Out. Who knows?
Yeah, whatever the show is. Great show. He what is it? It is
Get Up. I think it's Get Up.
Get Lost. Get Lost. Here's what he had to say about Trey Lance in the 49er offense.
I don't think Trey Lance can play in Kyle Shanahan's offense. I've seen enough. He doesn't have enough reps playing football. That's a reality. That ball is almost intercepted. It should go to the left because the guy's wide open. The ball doesn't come out quick enough for Trey right now. And I think that after watching yesterday, he's so much more comfortable as an under center quarterback than a shotgun quarterback. But Kyle's offense has really become a shotgun offense. It's become ball distribution. It's become play point guard. It's become get it out quickly. And that's just not where Trey is right now. I want to be fair to Trey. He got better as the game went on, and that's why those reps matter. I just don't think he can play in Kyle Shanahan's offense. He should have thrown 2 interceptions. The ball gets held so long for him right now, and it hasn't gotten better in the 3 years that he's been in the NFL.
Dan Orlovsky.
Interesting.
On Get Out of Here today on ESPN.
That's the only reason why I don't know how much blame I 100% want to put on Trey for, especially in the beginning of that game, because it did kind of feel like they were having a little bit of some late developing routes. Like Lance was standing back there because, the guys had to, get through their routes, and it was deeper progressions. And it did feel like there was a shift once those first 2 or 3 drives completely stalled out, that they did go to a more high tempo, first read, get it, get out kind of reads. And that's when Lance looked his best. And so that's kind of where, if there is any confusion to be had about Lance's performance, that's where I'd be willing to hear it is, yeah, like Orlovsky said, I mean, that is more of the Shanahan system. And when Shanahan was running more of those quick hits, that's when Lance did look his best. It was more on the late development, and that's when you could really see his processing and holding the ball for way too long, which he definitely did and played a part in it. But when it seemed to be asked of him to just get the ball out, he actually looked pretty decent. And that's maybe where I'll push back on what Orlovsky's saying there. But besides that, I think he's definitely right. And just eye test wise, it did not look like Trey Lance was the guy that should be the choice for backup.
It's possible that even though the 49ers didn't play the starters, that the offensive line did not start the game as well as they thought they would. But I think it was the second sack in that first series. I think it was and that was Matt Millen saying, he had a guy open there. That's on the quarterback. Yeah. But the thing is, if he continues to not get the ball out, and maybe they made some adjustments in the play calling, but that's been an issue with him before.
Sure.
And the way I look at it, I know he keeps saying that, but if you're Kyle Shanahan, it's like, that's one thing you cannot do.
No, you can't just hold on to the ball.
Because it's a timing offense.
Well, and that really shows his inexperience as well, because that's the mental clock, the quarterback clock that everybody talks about, where you just have that internal sense of pressure. He clearly had no sense of that at all. I mean, he was just standing in the middle of that pocket, patting that ball 2-3 times, and it's like, get the ball out. Like, throw the ball.
Too late.
Yeah, every single time.
Now.
Yeah. And he just had no sense of urgency. And that was really, again, like that's where he just looked completely lost. And you could tell that that's not the kind of thing that just happens over a couple weeks of training camp. That's like years and years of comfortability that he just hasn't gotten in any system, whether it be in college or in the pros. He just looks incredibly uncomfortable sitting back in the pocket. And as pressure comes in, Sam Darnold took a couple big hits and let the ball out. Like, I don't think Lance has that ability. The thing that Kirk Cousins is really great at is, as was shown in the quarterbacks documentary, standing in the pocket. And sometimes you got to make really good throws. No, definitely not.
Some quick comments here, rapid fire from Jay. Latu's still a tight end used for blocking. Shanny set up Lance for failure yesterday. He dropped back way too many times. Sam was given a bunch more runs. People are overreacting in the preseason. Okay. I don't think Shanny is setting up Lance for failure. There's nothing to gain.
There is nothing to gain. Except for personal pride for some reason. But what does that doesn't make his team better, which I think is his actual goal.
If he plays, even if they've decided he's not the guy, you want him to play well so you can get something for him.
Exactly.
Overreacting in the preseason, maybe, but I just think, was Dan Orlovsky overreacting to what he saw in the preseason? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And that's the story.
We also are talking about with the information that we're given right now. And this is also not just off of one game. Again, like, there were stories a couple weeks ago, even though people have backed off, that Lance is possibly on the roster bubble. Like, I think that this is a culmination of years now of Trey Lance has, like you said earlier, this has been a common problem with him, is holding the ball in the pocket too long. And it doesn't seem like he's gotten really any better at that recently.
Yeah, and let's be clear, it's really hard.
It's incredibly hard. And like, we're literally talking about, like, I say he was a second too late. That's honestly too long. He was probably like 0.4 seconds too late. That's the kind of margins we're talking about, but that's why it's so hard to play quarterback. That's why it's so demanding, is because the difference between an interception and an easy, obvious touchdown is like half a second. And that's how good you have to be.
Meanwhile, one 49er may have won an opening day job yesterday. Tell you who that is coming up on Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Whitey
and Watkins
on Sactown Sports. Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Thinking that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Monday forecast centered around clouds, sunshine, and heat ahead. Plan for daytime highs in the range of 100 to 102 with overnight lows in the upper 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. See our selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda. Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware, if you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life and your choices with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age, but there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
When the world's best players get fitted for new golf clubs, they want to see their ball flight outdoors. And why should you settle for any less? The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is the area's unquestioned leader in delivering a new age of golf club fitting to Northern California. With 14 trained, skilled professionals to show you how to hit the ball farther and straighter, satisfied customers have increased their yardage, improved their games, and gained confidence. Call 916-808-2531 to get started. That's 808-2531 for longer, straighter drives.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical pool, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2. Brought to you by Shane Company, Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, and the United States Marines.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. Much like you probably, my kids are going back to school next week. What does that mean? It means end of summer blowout on all systems with American Energy Heating and Air right now. $2,500 off full systems, with systems as low as $34 a week. And American Energy Heat and Air offering a free Wi-Fi thermostat on high-efficiency units. As always, they're making the uncomfortable comfortable, but get in right now. This limited offer expires August 30th. You can call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. Better Business Bureau A+ rating. 1981 is when they started serving the greater Sacramento area. They are Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company and second opinion partner with heating, cooling, service, tune-ups, installations, and more. American Energy Heating and Air, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
There was always a crowd gathered around our dining table when I was growing up. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Everyone was welcome at my mother's table, so holidays, birthdays, and celebrations always included family and friends. I used to think I was the most popular kid in the neighborhood until I realized that my friends were really there for my mother's incredible cooking. Years later, when I bought my own dining table from Naturewood, I made sure it was large enough to make friends feel welcome. And right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings' Dine in Style sale, you have an opportunity to find the perfect dining room furniture to help you create your own treasured memories. Choose from casual to formal or anything in between. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings during the Dine in Style sale off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Laud with your Sactown Sports headlines. The 49ers had their first preseason game of the year where they lost 34-7 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Trey Lance was 10 of 15 on the day, throwing for 112 yards and 1 touchdown. And Sam Darnold was 5 of 8 in the game, throwing for 84 yards. The Niners will be back in action this Saturday when they host the Denver Broncos. You can listen to Saturday's game right here on Sactown Sports. The James Harden situation has gone from bad to worse this weekend between Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers. It was reported during the weekend that the 76ers ended trade talks involving James Harden. And this morning in China at an Adidas media event, Harden called 76ers general manager Daryl Morey a liar. He also said he will never be a part of an organization that he is a part of. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
Kind of like Christmas Eve today, because you know what we're going to be getting ready for this time tomorrow, Chris? Noon tomorrow is when the NBA, and I think they're doing it live on ESPN, they're going to be unveiling the portion of the schedule that includes the in-season tournament.
We're all part of the same miracle.
Okay.
That's supposed to be on NBA
3 games
today.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
NBA
they're going to,
today,
that's my understanding is, the in-season tournament, they're going to announce that portion of the schedule.
Okay.
Here is the in-season tournament 2023.
Interesting. Like a 3-week period. Interesting. Or what is it? The Kings are one of 5. So yeah, 4 games will be announced tomorrow. It's better than nothing. I'll take this slow trickle out of the games, but I wouldn't say I'm excited for it. We pretty much already know the teams that they will be playing. It's just the exact order and the exact dates in which they'll play. So, I guess I'll take any news, but I would not say that this is Christmas Eve-esque. No matter how much the NBA wants us.
Well, there is one.
So you're already backing up. You're not even.
No, I'm excited for the in-season. I'm excited for the actual games. I just don't really care about the order in which they're played. It's not really,
There is, as you know better than I think you saw this well before I did, one Sacramento King who's very excited about that. And we'll get to that our next segment here with Whitey and Watkins. One King is ready to go in the in-season tournament. Yeah. There's one 49er yesterday. I know that I've been critical of this and that. I think Trey's on his way out, and you already cut somebody, one of the backup tight ends.
Sorry, Cameron.
But Cleveland Ferrell may yesterday have cemented a spot in the starting lineup opening day against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He was definitely one of the few positives that you could have taken from the game. He had a good run stop. I think it was on 3rd down, and then also had a sack yesterday. He really, really showed out after, again, hearing he had been doing pretty well in the joint practices and in the training camp leading up to it. It seemed like, Drake Jackson's missed some time, I believe, with a hamstring injury.
That is correct. A hamstring strain, yes.
So yeah, he really has stepped up, and that's I guess it could be an open competition, but he definitely staked his claim for why he deserves reps opposite side of Nick Bosa. It was a impressive performance, and somebody who has a level of pedigree, being a top 5 pick in the draft. You could maybe see how he might have earned some playing time yesterday, for sure. He was really, really good coming off that edge.
Well, it's a miracle because you remember he is the one that knocked the ball out of Brock Purdy's hand.
Yeah, he should have been. He's lucky he wasn't cut on site after that. You're really lucky after what that was like the second practice that Purdy had been in as well.
One of the first ones. Yeah,
it's just you would have thought almost instantly. It's like, son, come here for a second. We got to talk. Clean out your locker. I don't know what. That's some of the most reckless play I've ever seen. But
number 4.
Yeah, by the Raiders as well. So maybe there was some unfinished business that he had to take care of over the weekend. But he was really impressive. One of the few singular standouts, I really thought. And again, Kinlaw I thought played really well in his time in that first half as well. But to me, Cleveland Ferrell was probably the overall most consistent on that D line.
He must have known when he knocked the ball out of Purdy's hand and Shanahan didn't go nuts. He must have realized, hey, I must be doing something right.
Exactly. They must really like me.
And then days later, Shanahan came out and said, I had to just keep from losing my mind. I had to hold my breath to keep from losing my mind.
That was that's that's not a good situation to come in, but he's definitely proven that he's worth the roster spot right now. And I think, the bigger conversation of could he take time away from Drake Jackson? I think so. I mean, again, he's somebody who's shown, in the past, at least to have some sort of pedigree. Is he, an elite, starting level defensive end? I don't think so. His past in the NFL has shown that he's not really somebody I would rely on heavily, but for sure. I mean, especially when you're the guy who's not getting the attention on a defensive line of Hargrave, Onsen, and Bosa, like you're going to
benefit from
You're always going to get single coverage, and granted, you'll be going against other teams' left tackles, but you should, if you can beat that guy, like you're not going to experience many double teams, and that can be, if they can even switch out Drake Jackson and Cleveland Farrell, that's great. You can always keep a fresh body on the other side, and I think that's a major positive for this D line, which is already incredibly elite.
I think we all know that that's the engine for this team. That's really where it all starts. Pardon me, is up front defensively. And even though they got pushed around in the 2 joint practices, and then the 49ers didn't play well yesterday, but I am not the least bit concerned about anything we saw from them, because they had backups playing. And I know Trey Lance, I don't know that Trey Lance is going to be the guy, but I don't think they need him to be. Mm-hmm. So as bad as it looked yesterday, to me, from the 49ers standpoint, I'm not sitting there going, oh no, this is trouble. It's like, that was ugly, and it was kind of a waste of my time, but I really do think everything's fine.
Yeah, the concerning thing I agree with you in the sense of the starters didn't play, and the starters that didn't play are the difference makers for this team. I mean, if the Niners were relying on just overall depth, that's really, really concerning. But, none of the 49ers impact players were going yesterday. And if anything, the biggest concern from yesterday is that if any injuries happen, which they tend to do in the NFL, it could get shaky. It could get shaky really, really fast for this team, because we saw that line. I mean, there's already tons of questions about Colton McKivitz and whether or not he'll be able to take this step up to the starting line. If he goes down, or if anybody else on that offensive line goes down, it did not look like there's anybody there that could step in and replace them. And then same on the defensive end as well. That defense was just getting torched by the Raiders, who do not, by any stretch of the imagination, have any sort of elite offense. And if they were able to tear them up the way that they did, what are some of those elite?
I don't know what you were watching.
He looked decent. He definitely looked decent, and the Raiders should feel really positive about his future. I think, especially in his first NFL action, to look that competent and comfortable is a massive win. But if you're the 49ers, I mean, nobody on that defensive side really impressed me.
Yeah, that'd be one mild concern, is this guy, as I point to
Isaiah Oliver.
We've heard a lot about Isaiah Oliver, the nickelback, and I don't think he played very well yesterday. And it sounds like we've talked about the 49ers don't have a ton of depth at the corner position.
Yeah.
And he didn't look like he played very well yesterday.
No, I didn't think so. I didn't really like the performance of any of the DBs. They were getting toasted, just absolutely burnt off the line. And then,
they got O'Connell, baby.
I will say the one member of the secondary who played pretty well was rookie Jair Brown. He made a couple really good tackles. He made a tackle at the goal line as well to save a touchdown. I think they ended up scoring anyway.
You mentioned Deshaun Jameson too.
Yes, yeah, he had a couple good returns. I didn't really notice him on the coverage side of things, but there was like literally a few standouts that you really had to pick and parcel through in order to find some wins there. But there was definitely some positive, but mainly, for the most part, mainly negative for the Niners.
Yeah, but I don't think Kyle Shanahan lost any sleep about that.
No, I don't think so. No.
He's going to lose plenty of sleep when he wants to come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Not about last night.
About last night.
All right, coming up, as promised, excited about the NBA in-season tourney. We'll tell you about the Sacramento King, who definitely is next year on Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports. The Kings preseason schedule is out, and Sactown Sports has you covered. Preseason stops include Vancouver, Anaheim, San Francisco, and Sacramento, with matchups against the Raptors, Lakers, Warriors, and Jazz.
Monk in attack mode, drives inside, right to the rim. And that's the dagger right there. I think the Warriors fans sensed that with that breakdown, the Warriors look like a defeated ball club.
Catch all the action on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey there, car shoppers. Listen up, because we've got some fantastic news just for you. At Elk Grove Kia, we're breaking all the rules to bring you unbeatable deals that you won't find anywhere else. Picture this, the only Kia dealer in town with a mind-blowing 20-year warranty. And guess what? It won't cost you a single dime. Yes, you heard that right, 20 years of worry-free driving. And it comes standard with every new Kia we sell. And we promise to meet or beat any of our local competitors' prices. Now, let's talk about credit worries. Are you concerned about past financial hiccups? Well, worry no more. Our management team has over 100 years of combined experience. We say yes, a lot more than those other guys. Bankruptcies, repos, collections, no problem at all. At Elk Grove Kia, we say yes. And with no hefty down payments needed. Elk Grove Kia says yes to making your car dreams a reality. So why wait? Experience the biggest savings and the best car buying experience at Elk Grove Kia. Come see us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or check out our website at elkgrovekia.com.
Elk Grove Kia. Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at Uma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Dad, I don't feel good.
I'll grab the Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey.
Isn't DayQuil just for parents?
Actually, Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey is just for kids, specially designed to treat kids' most bothersome cold symptoms quickly with a honeylicious tasting flavor kids like.
You know what else kids like?
DayQuil Kids Honey first, then video games.
Deal.
Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey. The kids' honeylicious daytime coughing, congestion, stuffy head, stuffy nose medicine. Safe for ages 6+.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Top 100 PGA and LPGA teaching professional Kelly Stenzel offers a few tweaks for your short game, including putt whenever you can, chip when you can't putt, and pitch only when you have to. For small distance, small setup. Shorter shots require smaller swings. Grip the handle lower for less power, and a narrow stance will limit your backswing. For large distance, large setup. The farther you want to hit the wedge, the larger the swing needs to be. Full length on the grip and a wider stance create more power. And posture is key for contact and loft. See that your short game posture reflects that of your full swing. Ball position tips. Left for loft. For right-handed golfers, move the ball forward and increase loft. Right for roll. Moving the ball back decreases the loft for more roll. Sharpen your short game and watch your scores drop and your enjoyment rise. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 916-277-8599 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Check out Whitey and Watkins now on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and watch the show from your desk.
Well, we're coming up on it tomorrow at noon. The NBA scheduled to release the schedule of the in-season tournament. As you pointed out, we already know a lot about it. We know the dates and we know which groups teams are in. So we'll have a few more further details. But I don't know why the NBA seems to think there's going to be some sort of, oh, look at this. Wow.
It's here. Oh, my goodness. We're a step closer. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody – I mean, it just doesn't matter. Yeah, we already know the opponents. We know the rough dates in which these things will occur. It's more just we're going to find the specifics of, okay, the Kings are going to play the Warriors on the first Tuesday, and then they're going to play the Thunder on the Friday. And I don't know, it just really doesn't matter, especially when we don't know the full schedule around it and, the games leading into and after. It's just, I think it's a way of the NBA getting some, traction and some people talking about them besides this James Harden thing. But for the most part, I just don't think that this is really that big of news, though. We'll obviously take it and run with it when it comes to the King side of things, for sure.
Apparently, De'Aaron Fox asked his followers last night
He did. Yeah. On X.
How do you feel about the in-season tournament? And De'Aaron Fox said, I'm so about. Obviously, we've never done it before, but other basketball leagues and soccer leagues do it. They seem to love it.
I mean, yeah, it works in just about every other, international capacity. And in soccer, it's a really big thing. The interesting thing to find out will be, is it only important because of history in those situations? Is the FA Cup in soccer only coveted because it's been around for so long and it's something that means something because of the history? Or is it, the added additional tournament and, just the fact that it's added competition and there is a true winner of the tournament that in turn means something? I guess we're going to find out in the NBA. I think it'll end up coming down to how much the players care at the end of the day. Fans could be excited about it. The NBA could be pushing all gung-ho for it, but if the players aren't going to give it their full effort, then at the end of the day, it's not going to work. But something tells me that we're going to quickly find out. It's just regular season games that actually have boosted meaning. So there's nothing different about what's going to go on. It's just these games are going to have a heightened level of importance. There's really no negative side to it that I've been able to find so far. Does that mean, you understand what I mean? I do. It's not like it's like added games. It's, you already would have been playing these games. It's just there's
for the most part, other than the Final Four.
Other than the Final Four, yes. That's the championship is actually the only added game. Besides that, everybody's playing 82 games except for the team in the championship.
The two teams in the championship.
2 teams in the championship.
We'll play
83, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's just 83. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, yeah, like I said, I feel like most players probably feel like how De'Aaron does, where they're in a wait and see approach. But I do think majority of the big names, the LeBrons and the Stephs and, the Kawhi Leonards, will those guys show any more effort in those games? Or if they're nicked up a little, will they say, I'll fight through it because this is a tournament game? That I think is still to be determined. I guess not, though.
If I'm LeBron, and I'm not claiming to be, but if I'm LeBron,
couple inches,
there's 2 ways I can look at it. One, this thing it's a drain physically. I'm trying to win a championship this year, a legitimate season championship to add to my legacy, and I don't need any more distractions or especially any more games to take more of a physical toll on me. On the other hand, I am thinking legacy now, and
yeah.
This is the first one. Couldn't have hurt.
Yeah,
to lead my team to the first one, especially when my chances for winning the O'Brien trophies are narrowing now.
How about this? How about, what did the NBA add last season? A bunch of stars to their awards. They made it the Jerry West Clutch Player of the Year. I don't think they gave one to Michael Jordan. I don't think I think it's the Bill Russell MVP award or something. Or,
Michael Jordan does have one. I think
it's the All-Star.
MVP.
No. MVP.
And Russell is the Finals MVP,
okay.
which they already
gotcha, right? And that already had. So, I mean, if LeBron wanted to, this could be an open trophy slot right here. I mean, you win the first ever in-season tournament. How about the in-season MVP is the LeBron James trophy moving forward? I think, that's really, if he's trying to third eye open this legacy thing, that could be a play for him. And, realistically, it's going to be tough for him to win that actual NBA championship. I don't want to, this tournament could really end up being a true consolation prize for a lot of people where, it's better than ending the season with nothing. Like, at least you could convince yourself, hey, this season wasn't a complete bust. At least it was this. Now, some would argue that's a loser's mentality. And, if you're not first, you're last and all that stuff. But, I think realistically, you got to take what you can get. And that's why I think it would, to tie the Kings into this, I think it would be really beneficial for a team like the Kings, who are going to have a really almost impossible shot of winning an NBA title. Try and get some sort of momentum, some wind in your sails, and say, look, last season, whether it was a failure in the playoffs or not, we have something tangible that we can take and say, look, we accomplished something this year. We came together for a common goal, and look what we could achieve when we all set our minds to something.
If we end up over the next 5 to 10 years, I think the NBA is going to stick with this thing for a long time.
I do. They're going to try and make it work.
And I'm already on record
the
as
Trey
saying,
Lance of things. They're really going to make it work.
I'm already on record as saying the Kings are going to beat the Hawks and win this thing. But if we end up with teams that win over the next 5 to 10 years, teams that win the in-season tournament, and ultimately they end up being teams that aren't very good, that may be unlikely. But if that's what happens, Orlando has won it 2 years in a row. They haven't made the playoffs. Then I think the whole thing's going to end up.
It's a farce. Yeah, at that point.
Being kind of an afterthought.
Probably.
I don't know how likely that is, but I think that'd be the worst case. But if you get good players and they really are trying and they want to win, and you get that December 9th, whatever, and it is LeBron or Giannis or Luka for that matter,
right?
And they're playing for something, then that's worth watching.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just, again, it's going to come down to the players caring. Will Luka just say, yeah, like, this is very customary where I come from is for these midseason things. Why would you not care about this? Like, this is still a basketball tournament. We're still playing basketball. There's still only one team that advances. Seems like something I should care about, especially if you really love the game of basketball, like all of these hoopers claim to. They should not care.
It's just so I was going to say foreign, but I don't want to. Yeah, it's just so counter to what we traditionally do in American sports.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I give him credit for
it is a
giving it
consolation trophy in a way.
Yeah. Hey, our 49er preseason game 1 report cards.
Can't wait.
Can you imagine how nervous the players are about these?
Oh, they're shaking right now. I mean, I'm sure they already went through all the morning meetings with Kyle and everything, and they're like, I heard Whitey and Watkins are doing a report card at 12 o'clock. Oh, geez. Oh,
hey, Lotsu, if I were you, I wouldn't listen.
I wouldn't listen either, Cam. Sorry.
Coming up next, and by the way, those of you on YouTube, we ain't going anywhere. Right back with our 49er preseason game 1 report cards next. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports. I was pretending I froze.
I do have an update for you guys on the Michael Jordan. So it's not the Michael Jordan MVP. It's the Michael Jordan Trophy awarded to the Kia NBA Most Valuable Player.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So it's his trophy, but it's
you get the Michael Jordan Trophy, and it has a player with a ball in his hand, but it's not. It's clearly not Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. It's just
the Kia.
It's
MVP.
like one of those just like random basketball trophy guys.
Gotcha.
I remember that because Dave was on. This was months ago. He said, "I can't believe Michael Jordan. There's not an award." And I was sitting over there, and I came over and wrote down MVP award. Oh well, yeah. I guess
that
that's
old
okay.
thing, yeah.
But Christopher Lodge right. Technically, it's not that.
I mean,
it's the Michael Jordan Trophy for the Kia NBA MVP.
But it is the Bill Russell Finals MVP. That's not. I don't.
And that was in place before they introduced all the other.
Right.
ones.
Yeah. That's been a thing for a while. Right. Bill Russell walks out, and presents it and everything.
I remember. I think it was when the Warriors won. One of the years the Warriors won with Durant, and Bill Russell was out there, and like Kevin Durant. I don't think he knew who he was. It was like he gave him the award, and then Kevin
so
Durant.
bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
Yeah.
That's not a great look for Kevin. I mean, come on. You got to know Bill Russell, man.
10 years ago or so, I guess it was, I went to a game at USF. It was a women's game. Gonzaga was playing USF. And USF has a really small gym. And at halftime, I just went down in the lobby. I had to go to the bathroom or something. They have this little trophy case. It looks like a high school gym.
Yeah.
And they have some stuff there. Oh, there's an old basketball. And Bill Russell went there, and they have like his shoes and stuff in there. I was like, you guys see this? Yeah. Hey, everybody, look at this.
In this high school gym, this is Bill Russell.
It was incredible.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah. Like imagine that just being at Sac Stage Gym casual.
That should be
a Hall of Fame. Exactly. Yeah. That's incredible. Yeah, that's probably all still there. Yeah,
As far as I know, yeah.
That's ridiculous. Sometimes I forget he went to USF. Like that's because is he from the Bay Area?
He's
at
from
all?
Oakland.
Is he really? I actually didn't know that. That's incredible. I feel like that's not like the Bay Area needs to own Bill Russell a whole lot more. I mean, I feel like Boston has tried, even though Bill definitely is not for that. But yeah, I definitely feel like he needs to be more widely used as like a Bay Area figure. No one ever talks about Bill Russell is one of the greatest humans to ever his human accomplishments are almost unrivaled. Like, I love Bill Russell. One of like the few, as you know, I'm a basketball historian. Like one of the few people who made me like really, really like fall in love with basketball.
Really?
Just the success and like his entire story of never really losing a championship. People talk about Wilt Chamberlain like he was, the greatest of all time, and yet Bill Russell time after time after time after time just straight up embarrassed him. Like he took joy out of embarrassing him, but also, did it with a smile. I just think he's one of the most incredible figures that have been in sports, period.
I guess they became friends eventually. But
Yeah,
when they played,
I think he felt really guilty about how he treated him because they were friends, but also Bill was always at the forefront of like social justice issues and was always trying to get Wilt to be more vocal, and Wilt was always just very
he's more
happy-go-lucky. Very much like, hey man,
Mm-hmm.
whatever people do is what they do. I'm just here to score 100 and go home and go to all of my women and whatever he would do in his spare time. But I always thought Bill was one of the greatest. News at 11, Bill Russell, really good.
Do you know who Bob Cousy is? You know that name?
Yeah, I've heard the name.
There was a documentary years ago, and they were talking about those Celtics, and Bill Russell was still around. And Bob Cousy was talking about all the things that Bill Russell went through in Boston because there were terrible things people did.
Yeah, would allow his home. Yeah.
But they would go and desecrate
stuff,
his home. And and Bob Cousy started talking. I said, I probably should have helped him more through that. He started crying. He was really.
Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah.
I wonder what Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, those guys would say about an in-season tournament.
I'm sure Bill would be for it. It'd just be more things for him to win.
Something else to win.
Yeah. I'm sure Wilt would be like, hey, I can set new scoring records for the in-season tournament and then get eliminated in the round beforehand.
The idea of naming trophies, I just thought of it. So if you get a player who's like, oh, I'm going to take this seriously to try and win these in-season tournaments, win 3 or 4, then you get the in-season tournament MVP trophy named after you.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's right for the taking with LeBron. I mean, he could just win 2 or 3 of them and have that be his legacy.
Right.
He can say something ridiculous like, I would argue that 2 in-season tournament titles probably equals like 1 NBA Finals. And so when you think about it, I kind of do have 5 rings.
So LeBron's a guy, Steph probably a guy that they're going to have to name an award after at some point. Steph Curry.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that'll be like the most 3-pointers made in a season is the Wardell Stephen Curry Sniper Award, or I don't know.
Or maybe they should swap out the Jordan one and make that the Steph Curry.
No. I think
no. What do you think, Verlade?
No.
Maybe?
No.
Maybe just be a perfect capper to the summer Steph.
No. Maybe they can give a summer MVP for who had like the most social relevance throughout the summer. I'd be okay with that.
I mean, we already know that they're naming the American Century Champion trophy after Steph Curry.
Oh,
well, forget trophies. It's time just for report cards here. I get a little emotional when we do this because it reminds me of the time when I found my SAT scores and I showed them to my daughters and they started laughing at them.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I found my SAT scores
like,
from high school.
Look
really,
how proud I am.
Dad?
Really?
That's
Ooh.
it?
You didn't you kept those?
You didn't take the whole thing, or
like
what?
you were proud? Why is that in a frame?
Well, what do you have here for your 49ers? It's only one game.
Yeah, I know.
Preseason report card.
Preseason report card. Where should we start? I mean, I might as well start with the quarterbacks, right? I mean, that's the thing everybody's talking about. We'll start with Trey Lance.
C minus.
That's exactly what I have.
Is it really?
I have a C minus for Trey Lance, and
I had to fight the compulsion to give him
a
less
D.
than that.
Yeah, I wanted to as well, but again, the offensive line did him no favors at all. So I wanted to give him some grace, give him some leniency. But for those who have gotten C minuses before in the past, you will know that that's not great.
It's
C
a
minus
passing
is
grade,
that
but
close to a D.
Yeah.
When you get a C minus, it's like, whew, well, I definitely didn't study for that, so I guess I'm glad I didn't fail. But
D is
you're really close to getting a D.
Oral report cards from Franklin Junior High. It's a D is minimum achievement, I think.
Okay.
F failure, D minimum achievement, C average achievement, B good, and A excellent.
Okay. Yeah. Then I would definitely say C minus, D plus, I guess, for if you really want to be critical, but I'm trying to give him some grace, like I said, and it's the first preseason game. Was patting holding on to that ball way too long, way too long. But, it wasn't all terrible. It definitely wasn't good. There were no points that were great. The touchdown was technically a touchdown, and he probably should have had another interception. Yeah, probably should have had another interception. So for that reason, C minus, and I feel like
Sam Darnold, I would give him a B.
That's exactly what I have as well, which means that our grades are probably fair. Yeah, I think definitely didn't deserve an A. It wasn't like he set the roof off and was like, maybe this guy should compete for the starting job.
That one throw to Bell down the right sideline.
Oh man, that was beautiful. It was almost like very reminiscent of like the Zach Wilson throw in that Hall of Fame game where it was just a deep, perfect ball. And that was really the moment where it was like, okay, Sam Darnold could step off the field right now, and he 100% had a better day than Trey Lance. Only had a couple drives. One of those was the Latu fumble, so can't really, talk much about that besides from the Latu angle. So, yeah, I think he played well, didn't play incredible. He got a B. Very solid. Very, very solid, I would say.
Ronnie Bell, I'd give a B.
Yeah, I mean, I would maybe do B minus just because I believe his was the ball that it went through his hands to get the interception on Brandon Allen. But besides that, I mean, literally besides that, I thought he played really well.
Right,
he had
that was a good throw by Brandon
It
Allen.
was, yeah. I mean, it was a good check down. Ronnie Bell led the team in receptions and in yards, 3 receptions, 58 yards. I thought he played really well, especially for a 7th round pick. Like
returning
kicks as well will probably earn a roster spot with if he can lock down that. Yeah, I would say Ronnie Bell probably deserves a B minus. I would say
B.
I'll say B minus.
Wow.
The drop. It was
like he's a rookie.
It was a bad
drop.
drop.
A 5th round pick
right through his hands, and it led directly to an interception. So I got it down
towards the end of the game, and he was tired.
It was towards it. We were all tired, and the easiest way would have been catching the ball, going down, and letting the clock wind out. So, yeah, I mean, I thought it was an impressive game for sure. But yeah, I can't in good consciousness not give him a.
What about Money Moody?
Why you clear your throat before that?
Because he's my guy, it's not easy to sit here and ask you what grade you have for the player that I said is going to be a candidate for NFC Offensive Rookie of the Year when he had 2 kicks and he missed them both. And they froze him both times, and he missed them both.
He made the extra point if we want to take silver linings.
I give him a D.
He didn't miss all of his kicks.
Rookie kicker in his first preseason game, D.
I give him a D minus.
Apparently, they give a lot fewer D pluses than D minuses. It's not a grade they like to give out. I'll tell you that right now.
I think it was, obviously not an ideal performance. The 40-yard kick. 40-yard kick should be nails. I mean, that's the one that you shouldn't even really have to think about. That's the Robbie Gould kick where Shanahan had all the faith, wouldn't even think twice, send him out there, and it's automatic 3 points. Fact he missed
49ers dodged a bullet by not bringing Robbie Gould back. Nobody wants him. He's not even on anybody's roster.
You're just digging yourself a deeper and deeper hole with this Moody thing.
I'm with you on a D. I gave Moody a D.
Yeah, the 58-yarder wasn't even close. I mean, he had the leg for it, but that thing went so far right, it almost landed in the tunnel. I mean, it was a horrible, horrible kick. And granted, 58 yards, whatever. That thing was not close. After hearing that he made 2 from 60 during training camp, you would have thought that would have at least been near and upright, but it was not. I don't even think he hit the net behind the uprights. Like it was so
very
far
small
off.
Net in Vegas.
Yeah, maybe that's what it
Here's
is.
how you spell Moody: M-O for 1, O for 2, D his grade, and Y is Robbie Gould, not the kicker. That's how you spell Moody. Not how I spell it,
nice.
but I know it's how you spell it.
That is not nice at all.
No, that was a disappointment.
There was also an opportunity they had, I think it was in the first half, where they could have kicked a 58-yarder, and he opted to go for, I think, like a 4th and 2, and they didn't end up getting that 4th down conversion. So I don't know if that was telling of how Shanahan felt, or if it was more just like preseason. Let me get this. Let me just see what the offense looks like.
That was with Trey, right? So we wanted to give Trey
exactly
pick it up, and we'll keep going.
I gave him the benefit of the doubt for that, but it was definitely not a money performance from our guy Jake Moody for sure.
Our guy, now he's our guy.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
you
want to give him a D minus?
It's Whitey and Watkins,
Yeah.
so your thoughts are my thoughts.
You're my guy, but
You're
I'm
my
giving
guy,
you a D minus.
Boy, oh boy.
Cleveland Furl B plus.
Yeah, I would say B plus, especially considered the level of expectation going into the game wasn't very high. I think that he definitely impressed everyone who watched that game for sure. Again, like he had a good stop in the backfield, had a sack. I think he definitely proved that he's not a complete bust. And on this 49ers D line, he could definitely get some rotational minutes. I would definitely, or rotational snaps. I'm so wired into basketball. I think he definitely showed.
King's Bowl prediction of the day is coming up next.
Coming
so
up.
hang in there.
I know.
Hang in there.
I'm
We're
getting
almost
ahead of
there.
myself. How about the offensive line? What would you give that grade? Just in general.
I'd give him a D.
I'd give him an F.
Would you?
I mean, they gave Trey no shot. Like, I mean, I shouldn't say no shot, but it wasn't a fair chance of evaluation. Like the first drive was a sack, an incompletion, or a short completion, and then another sack.
How many sacks did they give up overall? And I apologize.
I believe it was 4 in total, and they were all the Lance. All the Lance.
So
Which
that's why some of that was him. So they were not good.
No.
But I can't give him a failure.
Run game never got going either. No, again, how much of that is there?
That wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
I
It
really
definitely
can't.
wasn't good. Yeah.
I didn't give him an F, but I can't. I really can't mount much of an argument against your F.
Defense in general gave them an F. They were given some.
That I agree with.
They were given some less than ideal field
O'Connell
position
looked like
sometimes,
who is
but-
this? Well, look, as you pointed out. Hey, Derek Carr.
Yeah, DC was back, and then who was the other guy? The Chase Garbers.
Sure.
Cal threw a touchdown as well. Just a really easy dump off at the goal line. I think that was after the Latu fumble.
49ers defensively did not, and it wasn't their first guys, but they did not offer much resistance at all.
None at all. And I think that's what's so concerning. If you want to take any level of concern, it's just the depth is not there. And I think kind of traditionally the Niners have been able to have these depth guys be playable. Even guys like, McKivitz has now earned a starting spot. Diamador Lenore is someone who's been a backup and now is getting starter time.
I don't know how deep they are at linebacker. And as we mentioned, the secondary, I think yesterday.
Yeah, right.
He's gone to Tennessee.
Yeah, I think that the linebacking core looked terrible. The Raiders' leading receiver was their tight end Cole Fotheringham.
I remember seeing him one time. He went back and he was talking to the quarterback, and I was trying to read his jersey.
Yeah.
And I didn't have time because he was only on the screen for like 8 seconds.
Yeah, it's spelled like father, like dad, father, but with an O. So I'm going to say Fotheringham. He was just destroying the linebackers. And granted, they were in zone coverage, but every single time you would just see them be super late to react and picking up those tight ends. It was a really bad performance, I think, completely around for the Niners defense. And again, just a few standouts in Cleveland Farrell. I thought Kinlaw and Jair Brown showed their worth. But besides that, I don't have really much of anything positive to say about the people who played for the Niners.
Which of those, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Pardon me for interrupting there. I apologize.
How dare you.
Which of those grades matter though? Like, offensive line.
Offensive line, I would say matters.
But it wasn't their real offensive line.
No, but just,
I asked I should let you answer the question. Which of those grades actually matter after the one preseason?
I think the offensive line matters just because it's really rare to find health all throughout your 5 linemen. And more than likely, 1 or 2 of those guys is going to have to hop in for a couple games, if not a good stretch of games. Linemen just tend to get hurt. The fact that their depth linemen didn't look good is concerning to me.
I'm
and
not
their
at all
secondary.
concerned
I
about
think
the
their
defensive
secondary is
line.
concerning. Really, the offensive line not concerned at all.
You said depth lineman. I said defensive.
Yeah. Okay. And then I mean their secondary is just concerning because I think that's their biggest positional group weakness. And
If Isaiah
didn't seem
Oliver
like
is
there's
not
much
what they
depth.
thought, then that's
a problem.
It's not like,
Yeah.
oh no, you're done, but you got to solve that.
Right, because corner again. I mean, and maybe it's not fair to say, oh, if they experience injury, they're going to come on hardship. I mean, newsflash, that's the case for every NFL team. But it really felt like, I mean, there was no real massive bright spots that you could say, okay, if X player goes down, we have a good roster, a good couple people that you can slot in and not feel terrible about. I mean, maybe it was just a really overall terrible game and there's not much that Shanahan will take from it because the whole team was bad. But I mean, you would have liked to see multiple positives and not just like 3 or 4 guys not being terrible.
The 49ers before yesterday widely were considered maybe the one of, if not the most talented team.
Yeah.
And a legitimate Super Bowl contender. And I don't think after one game, I
No,
don't
that
think
doesn't
changes
change,
at all.
no.
There were a few things here or there. We go, ugh. I mean, even Moody, let's say Moody struggled with accuracy. I think he's going to be fine. But let's say, wow, he's not the guy they thought. Well, that was a bad 3rd round pick, but it's not like he can't go out and find another kicker.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's worst case scenario. By the way, on the chat here, Manny Too Legit says, every time I hear you're my guy now, I think it's going to be something bad. LOL. Yeah, we call that a Draper.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the bit. That's exactly the bit. If I could update Moody's numbers, by the way, 17 of 29 from 40 plus in college and in pros now. It's not great.
That didn't those numbers don't look. You're my guy.
I'm just saying.
But those numbers don't count.
I'm just saying. Look, I'm just saying. He kicked him.
Give him a Tommy Lee Jones, would you please?
I don't care.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. I just, we care about Moody's kicks during practice. I just thought maybe we would care about the.
They're not going
kick
to talk
percentage.
about his missed field goals in preseason when he's going into the Hall of Fame.
That's a good point.
And by the way, when you're going to, by November, you'll be apologizing for what you just said. And just so you know, apology accepted. All right. Just so you know.
Okay.
Today's Bold Kings prediction, maybe the boldest yet. It's up in moments here. Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Monk in attack mode, drives inside, right to the rim. Well, that's the dagger right there. I think the Warriors fans sensed that with that breakdown, the Warriors look like a defeated ball club.
Catch all the action on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Enjoy the prime grilling season today with a new lifetime warranty Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. My personal Napoleon P500 series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro. Napoleon Prestige grills, versatile grilling for every occasion. Form, function, and luxury can come in the same package. Just go to your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply for the best selection today or visit Napoleon.com for a dealer near you.
At Granger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional grade products. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Check out Whitey and Watkins now on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and watch the show from your desk.
I have a question for you. Thanks for being with us today.
For me?
For you, for Chris Watkins, Chris Verlade. Those of you with us today, and we appreciate that. How is it that if you look at at least this was the case yesterday, maybe they've changed now, the FIBA World Basketball Rankings before yesterday, and of course the U.S. beat Spain yesterday, so maybe this has changed, but prior to yesterday's game, the U.S. was ranked number 2, and Spain was the number 1 ranked team in the world. Spain with Santi Aldama, a nice player. Willie Hernan Gomez.
Hey,
Alex
not even
Abrinas. Juancho. They're both.
Oh, they both are.
Yeah,
Okay.
Juancho.
Well,
that's the
understanding.
number 1 team.
Bo Cruz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 1 FIBA ranked team. Ricky Rubio ain't even coming through that door.
Neither are the Gasals. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. That makes zero sense.
Maybe they have some sort of system where the team wins this game or that game, it's
Doesn't
worth
matter.
points, and then
Doesn't
like,
matter.
what about the roster? Doesn't matter who's on the roster, because that yeah. Although going into the final quarter, and I know you saw some of this.
I
game.
did, yeah. I watched about 2 quarters of it. Yeah.
U.S. was ahead by 73-72.
It was shaky. It was shaky to say the least. I mean, Spain was really in it for 3.5 quarters, realistically. Like, they kept it within 5 for a good majority of the game. The U.S. never really ever had control of the game until, like the last 3 or so minutes. But Spain did a good job of keeping them close. But you could tell that, I mean, the U.S. just has way too much talent.
Tyrese Halliburton, 12 assists in under 22 minutes off the bench. His second double-figure assist game so far this summer. Bridges scored 12 points, and Ingram, Austin Reeves, Anthony Edwards each added 11. I like this team a lot because I think, especially Edwards, plays with an edge. He just plays with that attitude. You can see, I don't know what he says, but he plays like, I'm better than you. And
I feel like he says that as well.
I'm going to show you at some point. If you don't know already, you're going to find out.
Anthony Edwards feels like a cheat code for like international basketball. He's kind of, I mean, he's a freak athlete in the NBA, but, kind of for the most part is like, okay, I've seen that before. But when you put him against, teams like Spain who have Santi Aldama and Juancho Hernan Gomez, he kind of looks like Michael Jordan out there. It's just like, this guy is a different level of athlete, and it really shows when he's playing for Team USA.
Jalen Brunson was the man. He was 9 for 9 from the field on his way to scoring 21 points, and Jaren Jackson Jr. scored 14 as the U.S. pulled away from Spain, the top-ranked Spain team, 98-88 the final.
I think the big winner of this Team USA experience so far for me personally has been Jaren Jackson. I think he is like actually the perfect international center to have, especially in like the Olympic or FIBA setting. He's somebody who's small, so you can still play, mobile defense. He's kind of like a stretch 4 in that way. Can hit the 3 ball, especially with it moved in a little, but is also fantastic at protecting the rim. His only weak point is he can't rebound to save his life. But for the most part, I mean, he doesn't have a massive size disadvantage against most of these foreign teams. And
I know he fouls a lot in the NBA.
does.
I don't know about international.
No, that's
probably doesn't need to.
Hasn't been that big of an issue so far. Maybe, come actual competition time, it might rear its ugly head around. But I've been really, really impressed with Jaren Jackson, who I think also won like Team USA most impressive player during camp or something like that.
So the U.S. today leaving for Abu Dhabi, which brings us to that Giannis joke. You know the Giannis joke about Abu Dhabi?
No.
I could tell you, but I think we'll maybe try to find it.
Giannis had a joke about, because Giannis just pulled out of this. Did it have anything?
Yeah,
to do
he's
with
not
that?
playing, but you haven't heard his Abu Dhabi joke?
No.
All right, we'll see if we can find it.
What?
If we can't find it,
How did I miss this? Giannis is I haven't heard it yet, but Giannis is one of the funniest, like, I think low key too, like low key funniest people in sports today. Like, he's
a couple years ago, he came out, he had like a joke of the day, and you didn't hear his
Really?
Yeah.
He would have like dad jokes that he would
Yes.
tell all the time at press conferences,
Yes.
but I didn't know it was like a
Okay.
routine thing.
Well, we'll if we can't find it, I'll tell you.
please.
But
The Greek freak.
yeah, not
Huh?
playing because of his knee, like you say.
Yes.
I like this team a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing the games against the better teams.
Do you think that there's any chance that there's always going to be a chance that I think that's the one thing that I took away from yesterday's game was they should internalize the fact that they can lose this tournament. This is not a given. And if they don't give their 100% effort, some of these teams will sneak up on them. Do you think that there's any chance that we see this FIBA team end up kind of like the U.S. women's soccer where they get eliminated a round
Who
or two
could
too
beat
early?
them? I mean, of the rosters I've seen,
Yeah.
Canada, maybe.
Canada.
I think that could be a terrific game, but they're better
I think
than
Spain
Canada.
could give them a run.
This team?
This team? Maybe after this performance, the U.S. now, or Spain now has the U.S.'s respect, and so maybe they won't take them as lightly, but I'm telling you, Spain had a chance. They were up in the fourth quarter. They had a chance to win the game.
This is a FIBA preseason game, basically.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that
I'm
they really
assuming that when
turn
the
it
games
up
really
much.
matter.
We're talking about a team that lost to the Nigerian basketball team in a showcase game last year, or 2 years ago. Not that ended up having any effect
What's
on
Nigeria's FIBA world ranking?
I have no idea. You're going to have to ask Mike Brown or Chimezi Metu about that. I don't have that answer. But I would tell you that they're lower than Spain, definitely. And if they can lose to Nigeria, they can lose to Spain. They could lose to Slovenia if Luka gets hot in a given game. I wonder if, that's always the question with these U.S. teams that seem so stacked is there almost a level of oversight that happens because they have so much hubris in their talent. And, for the most part, I think this team has done a really good job of spreading the ball around. And I think that was an emphasis with the guards they brought in. Jalen Brunson and Tyrese are both ball movers for the most part. But, I wonder if there will be a game where they really need somebody to step up because Luka is going to give them 30 or 40 points in a game. And they're going to look at Anthony Edwards or Brandon Ingram or Mikal Bridges. It could be anybody, but will they have guys who, how will they compete as a team? Is what I'm curious.
Here it is. This is the Giannis Abu Dhabi joke. I got to warn you, I think he screws up the telling of it. But if he does, we'll clean it up. Here's Giannis.
Hey there. People in Dubai hate the Flintstones, huh? But in Abu Dhabi, they do.
Okay, the way that's supposed to go is people in Dubai, they don't like the Flintstones, but people in Abu Dhabi do. That's the way it's supposed to be told. But he says the people in Abu Dhabi, they do. And then he laughs. But that's the joke. People in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but people in Abu Dhabi do. He tells it wrong. People in Abu Dhabi do. That's the way you're supposed to tell that joke. And I had never heard that joke.
I don't know if I like that joke. I don't know if that's a winner there.
That's fine. I'm not saying it's a great joke. I was just wondering if you heard.
Abu Dhabi do. Yeah, that's... I don't think Jerry would approve of that, and that's my new standards. I just don't. I don't think that's.
Well, that's a good.
Very corny, very cringe. Yet again, that's not some of Giannis's best work. He's had some really good jokes.
You have to at least tell it right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
the delivery wasn't.
It's on
right.
camera. All right, hey, you mess it up. Take two.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, do the James Harden thing. Say wait. Let me repeat that.
If you told it wrong, then I don't think you understand your own joke.
Yeah, somebody probably told it to him. There's actually no way.
People in Abu Dhabi, they do.
Yabba dabba do.
Oh,
Has Giannis even seen the Flintstones? Probably not, right?
What Sacramento King used to have a Flintstone tattooed on his calf?
Greg Oshkosh.
That's correct, I believe.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
I thought I heard that. I was like,
Flintstone.
that's kind of random. That's so random.
We haven't gotten to our Bold Kings predictions yet.
Yeah, we have.
So we will get to those in a moment. Also, this whole James Harden situation, it turns out the Sixers have pulled James Harden off the market. How is he handling that? That's next year. Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
It's Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports. It's the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa. Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. Golf to Go. Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie. I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Monday forecast centered around clouds, sunshine, and heat ahead. Plan for daytime highs in the range of 100 to 102 with overnight lows in the upper 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
It's been said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to a nice, cool summer, it's so true. Right now, get a complete air conditioner tune-up for just $79. Bonnie. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Are you on the hunt for a reliable used car? Look no further. At Elk Grove Kia, you can buy with absolute confidence. Get ready for an offer you won't be able to resist. Our certified Kias undergo a rigorous 150-point inspection, ensuring that you get a top-notch, high-quality vehicle. Say goodbye to doubts and hello to peace of mind. Qualified buyers can enjoy special finance rates, making it even easier to drive home your dream car. But that's not all. Elk Grove Kia stands by the vehicles we sell, and we want you to love your purchase. If, for any reason, you feel you made a mistake, fret not. Bring it back within the first couple of days, and we'll gladly provide a full refund. Speaking of satisfaction, Elk Grove Kia's management team boasts over 100 years of combined experience. With that kind of expertise, we know how to say yes a lot more than those other guys. Bankruptcies, repos, collections, no problem at all. We're here to help you get behind the wheel, regardless of your past. Driven by trust and customer satisfaction. Drive happy, drive confidently. Drive Elk Grove Kia.
Elk Grove Kia.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Heart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th with Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical pool, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40 or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2. Brought to you by Shane Company, Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, and the United States Marines.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and, and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports Headlines. The 49ers had their first preseason game of the year where they lost 34-7 to the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday. Trey Lance was 10 of 15 on the day, throwing for 112 yards and 1 touchdown. Sam Darnold was 5 of 8 in the game, throwing for 84 yards. The Niners will be back in action this Saturday when they host the Denver Broncos. You can listen to Saturday's game right here on Sactown Sports. The James Harden situation has gone from bad to worse this weekend between Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers. It was reported during the weekend that the 76ers ended trade talks involving James Harden. And this morning in China at an Adidas media event, Harden called 76ers general manager Daryl Morey a liar and said that he will never be part of an organization that he's a part of. It is 1231 Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
How would you like to see 50 Cent at Golden One Center September 4th? All you got to do here is hit us up on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now. Looking for caller number
50. No, 5. We'll do 5.
Caller number 5, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, courtesy of Live Nation. Pick up tickets to see 50 Cent at Golden One Center September 4th. For more information, visit SactownSports.com. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And good luck.
Yeah, good luck on that one. 50 Cent, as we know, noted Sacramento Kings fan 50 Cent. Should be a really good show, actually. I don't think he's came to Sacramento in a couple of years. I know before this company threw a concert in which 50 Cent came, but I think that was the last time he actually performed in town. So
you know why 50 Cent was the perfect spokesman for the Kings a few years ago, right?
No, why?
Because they were only good for 2 quarters.
I knew there was some punchline there coming.
You didn't know that?
2 quarters. Yeah, that's a good one. That was
Okay.
a good one. Yeah, had to make sure that fit. And I was like, yep, they
Hold
definitely.
on, let me check.
Let me check my sources.
Checks
Yep.
out.
I don't know.
The
Jerry's
math.
got me spooked now. I don't know what kind of things I gotta run by people now in order to laugh at. That was a good one. That was a
I
good
think
one.
so.
Thank you.
You have to say used to be, not anymore.
Used to be, right?
Not
Exactly.
anymore.
Yeah. Now
Brings us to
they're
our
3 quarters. They're good.
Our Kings Bowl predictions of the day. I have one. Would you like to go first, or you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay.
You go first.
Speaking of all the international basketball going on, we know that Keegan Murray was selected for the select team.
Yes, he was.
That has been playing against the FIBA World Cup team. My prediction is that not for next year's Olympics, but the one after that, which would be 2028.
Okay.
Keegan Murray will be a member of the U.S. Olympic team.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
I like
very
it.
bold.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it. The fact that he's on the select team, he's really the only guy on this roster now who I think would fit. De'Aaron Fox, as great as he is, I don't know that they'd want him on that team.
Yeah, especially that far down the 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Usually they like to opt towards younger guys, and I think Keegan would kind of be, on that bridge right now of guys like Brandon Ingram, Mikal Bridges. The core of that team is mainly guys who are in their 5th or 6th years, and that would put Keegan around there. So that makes sense, and definitely having working with the reserve team, that's usually a good funnel system to make the actual
what I'm
team.
assuming.
Yeah.
So he would have that chance. And I think the way he plays, and I think he's going to be better. And I think he's the type of player that can play with just about anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just put him out there.
Like
Yeah.
his chances. There you go. Olympian. Who knows? Maybe we'll have many Sacramento Kings playing in the
Maybe
Olympics. just
Mr.
not all for the-
Vazenkov.
Yeah. Although Bulgaria
Probably won't make it unless
I don't
Sasha's
know.
that guy. I don't know. He could potentially raise his
carry them
country
like
up.
Larry Bird in Indiana State in 79.
Exactly.
I don't know how
Yeah.
possible that is.
Stranger things have happened. Mine.
So
is,
good luck topping that.
I really like mine. This is one I've actually been thinking about for a while, but I actually did the math behind it, and so we'll see how it goes. This one actually doesn't have to do with this immediate season for the Sacramento Kings.
It's okay. Mine didn't either.
Okay, that's true. Good point. So we're expanding our horizons these days. Try this one on for size. De'Aaron Fox, right? The Kings point guard. Heard of him?
Swipa?
Yeah. Swipa.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Master Blaster.
Yes.
The Master Blaster.
My mistake.
He's going to break Jason Thompson's game played record for a Sacramento King. Now, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Jason Thompson holds the record
I
for
remember
most
that.
games played by a Sacramento King. That number is 541 games. That is the record for most games played by a Sacramento King. De'Aaron Fox currently has 395 games played as a Sacramento King, needing 146 games in order to eclipse or to match Jason Thompson's record. Last season, De'Aaron played 73 games. That means if he were to play 73 games again this season and 73 games again the following season, that would put him exactly at 541 games, tying him with Jason Thompson's record. I think De'Aaron will be the Kings point guard and be on the Sacramento Kings team for at least the next 3 to 4 years, and I think he's going to eventually take Jason Thompson's.
It's bold, but I also
games
think
played.
it's probably right.
I do too, and it was something that, like I said, I was thinking about the other day. And if anything, I think it's a crazier fact that Jason Thompson's the person who holds that record. I mean, the Kings were obviously terrible throughout his entire tenure there, and is more speaking to the fact that they really struggled to find competent players during that stretch of time.
And they struggled to find guys who wanted to stay here that long.
Wanted to stay here, exactly, like DeMarcus Cousins. The fact that like Peja or Mike Bibby doesn't have that record, it's just mind-blowing to me. And De'Aaron Fox is signed, I believe, for the next 4 years. It could be the next 5 on his contract. If he lives out that contract and plays for a good majority of games, it should be his for the taking. The only question is, does something change between now and then? It seems like that relationship with him, Monty, Mike Brown is all solid and really, really good. But
thank you for that. That's excellent.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I thought it was a good one. And I think De'Aaron is more than worthy and definitely somebody who's a great representative to have as your, I believe they call them the talisman, right? As the your Iron Man, if you will, the guy who has played the most for your franchise.
What was Jason Thompson was like 2008 to 2014, something like that, or 2008?
I can check that
It's
because
not
he went with the Warriors that one season after as well. He played with the Kings from 08-09 all the way through 14-15. So yeah,
pretty much
nailed
exactly
it. Pretty
right.
much
Pretty much
exactly
close to
what
being
you
right.
said. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what you're talking about. So yeah, I think
That's an excellent. Thank you. Yeah, that's
yes. It's going to be
that's
tough
something
though.
I wasn't aware of, and it sounds like that's something we should all be aware of.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough though. 73 games is a lot of games to play, and that is going to require health. It's going to require consistency, and it's going to probably require the Kings continuing to play well because they're, as we've seen with guys like Damian Lillard, bad teams will shut their best players down the second half of the
But it's
season.
not like he has to do it within a certain
No.
time frame or anything like that.
It's just
Some
if he
records are.
plays exactly the amount of games he played last year, the next 2 years, he will have the record at the end of not this season, but the
It's
following.
very significant too what he represents for this franchise.
Absolutely. It's continuity, it's consistency, and it's hey, like this guy has ushered us into a new era.
That's why I disagree with Carmichael Dave, who says the Kings need to get James Harden.
Did he actually say that? Did he? I was gonna say
No, but I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna
gonna
hope it gets back to him.
I hope so too.
You know, I've heard people saying that is what Dave said.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. I like this circle we're creating here. Yeah. I've heard that. People have heard that. That's
the most important thing. You need to get just like a statement out there, and then after that's out there, you could just reply with some people are saying.
People are, I'm not saying.
I'm not saying he said it. I'm saying that people have said that he said.
Here's what James Harden said. I don't think we have that. This is what he said. Daryl Morey is a liar. I will never be a part of an organization that he's part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar. I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. This was at an Adidas media event in China.
It's so strange. I told you about it this morning. I was like, have you actually like seen his comment, like him making the comment? Because it's so strange. Like it's normally the kind of thing where, these basketball players will make these international tours and stop at random basketball courts in their country and say like, oh yeah, so excited to bring basketball and spread the game and all this. And instead James Harden is like, I'm going to use this time right now to state that I hate the team I play for and I no longer want to play for them. It's a very, very bold move.
I would like to know the context of it because we just get him talking. Was there someone that asked him the question? Definitely.
It was just like, here's my statement.
Yeah, he's definitely not being interviewed. He's just there with a microphone.
Yeah.
And people are just kind of like, oh.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's James Harden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say Daryl Morey's a liar.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming out today. I just want to say my GM's a liar, and I never want to play for them again. GM, liar, not playing for them again.
Harden's unhappiness with Morey stems over the lack of a long-term maximum level contract offer. The team risks the possibility of Harden's arrival at training camp bringing anything but a championship mindset. Yeah,
Do you
apparently he believes he was promised something that he's not getting.
Would you rather have this? Like, would you rather have your star do this where he's just blatantly out there saying, I'm not playing for your team, or what Damian Lillard's doing? Or is either one just
I
assume terrible?
I just think that Damian Lillard is more reasonable and I can figure something out with him and he cares more about the things that I want my superstar to care about.
Yeah.
So I would take Damian Lillard no matter what the rest of it is. I would take Damian Lillard over James Harden.
Yeah,
even
for sure.
maybe he has a legitimate gripe here, but that's not the way to go about it. I don't know.
No, I've never been a fan of the passive aggressive nature, and it feels like Dame is being a little bit more passive aggressive where he's like, I really want to go to Miami. That's it. oh, but I love Portland, and I, whatever, be nice. I love Portland, and the people should love me. And this isn't, because I hate Portland. It's
Dame
just
has never, to my knowledge, forced his way off of a team.
Yes,
and James Harden has done that.
But he's leaning toward. He's heavily leaning on, hey, trade me, without outright saying it. James Harden's just going out there and saying, this is what it is. This is what's happening. This is what's not happening.
I'm just glad I'm not Nick Nurse right now.
No. I mean, this is a bad situation for everybody. And this is also like I shouldn't say poor Joel Embiid, but like
he don't want to be there either.
Daryl Morey's just trying to, I think what James is realizing is, you're somebody's guy until the next guy comes around. I think, James and Daryl have had this relationship their entire career leading all the way back to Houston of Daryl's my guy. He's going to bring in people that are best suited for my game. Well, now Daryl's in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia's star is Joel Embiid. And every move that Daryl's going to make is going to be surrounded by what makes Joel Embiid better. And right now, that's not James Harden. And so I think this is the first time that James has realized, the GM does not have my best interest. It's the team's best interest in mind.
That must have been a shocker for him.
I would guess so.
I'm not the most important thing. Can't they just trade Dame for James Harden, then Portland can no, because Dame doesn't want to go to Philadelphia.
No. Suck it up, Dame.
There
Suck
is
it up, James.
Cause for concern after the 49ers lost weekend in Vegas. We'll find out in the Fact or Fantasy Showdown, won most recently by yours truly, Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Whitey and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Christian McCaffrey lead the NFL in rushing? Can Sacramento's own Eric Armstead bring his game to another level?
Prescott back steps up in the pocket. He gets sacked. Back on the 15-yard line. Get in my belly, says Eric Armstead.
Will rookie Jake Moody pick up where veteran kicker Robbie Gould left off? Find out on Whitey and Watkins every day at 11 a.m. during the 49ers Focus on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
There was always a crowd gathered around our dining table when I was growing up. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Everyone was welcome at my mother's table, so holidays, birthdays, and celebrations always included family and friends. I used to think I was the most popular kid in the neighborhood until I realized that my friends were really there for my mother's incredible cooking. Years later, when I bought my own dining table from Naturewood, I made sure it was large enough to make friends feel welcome. And right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings Dine in Style sale, you have an opportunity to find the perfect dining room furniture to help you create your own treasured memories. Choose from casual to formal or anything in between. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings during the Dine in Style sale off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Summertime and River Cats baseball are the perfect pairing. The only thing missing is you. With weekly promotions, premium giveaway games, and unique theme nights, there's fun for everyone at Sutter Health Park. Stick around postgame every Friday and Saturday night as we light up the sky with the brightest fireworks in town. Visit rivercats.com to purchase tickets.
Download the Sactown Sports app and listen to Whitey and Watkins on your smartphone.
I want to know, since we introduced the Showdown theme music, courtesy of Jeff Lynn and ELO. They played.
This is the only time
Golden
I've ever
One.
heard this.
Oh, boy.
A couple of years ago.
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
now,
that was when I was running promotions at the time.
Oh, really?
I had to give out a couple tickets. That's when I learned what ELO was. I was like, what is ELO? And then I looked it up, the Electric Lights Orchestra, and I was like, isn't this like Christmas? Don't they make, like, isn't that the...
You thought it was Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
I was like, yeah, I learned a lot. Working in promotions taught me a lot about music that I just had no idea
I believe
about.
there's another band or act, apologize for my ignorance, and they're called ELO also, and they're totally different. And that's why when ELO came here, they were Jeff Lynn's ELO, because I think there's a totally different
I would
ELO.
hope that they have some sort of like lights demonstration, because that's also what I was expecting, was some like big light show where, you know, like they're all in like bodysuits and like, you know, do cool dances in the dark. And no, I was very disappointed when I was like, oh, these are just 4 guys or whatever that just make music. I was expecting like a big theatrical thing that's like, yeah, like I said, I was expecting like Christmas music and big light shows and everything, and I was like, oh.
Well, no
lot
theatrics, just the facts, at least from one side of the table today. This is the Factor Fantasy Showdown. All rise for your judge for today, the Honorable Chris Berlod.
Yeah.
You may be seated, gentlemen.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Whitey, you are our winner from last week.
Allegedly.
So let's start with you.
Okay, thanks, Your Honor.
Considering how little Trey Lance has played, he was actually pretty good yesterday. Factor fantasy.
That is a fantasy.
That's the fact.
That is a fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Heard a lot of things there.
Trey Lance committed the cardinal sin. He still has time to correct it, but there's one thing he cannot do if he wants to perform in this offense and make Kyle Shanahan's offense go. He's got to get the ball out on time, because it's a timing-based offense. We saw it in his first series, and he was sacked 4 times. Why? The offensive line wasn't great, but because he held on to the ball too long. That's the one thing he cannot do, and he did it too often yesterday. So despite the fluky touchdown pass, he did not play well yesterday at all.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Trey Lance was not pretty good yesterday. It's a fantasy. You mentioned the sacks. I mean, the 4 sacks was definitely one thing. The holding on to the ball too long was definitely another thing. How about the interceptions, or the ones that should have been? I mean, I know there's no stats for should have been interceptions, but that touchdown was not a touchdown. That's a deflected ball that should have either been picked off by that DB that tipped it, or tipped into a different DB's hands. And there was also one at the towards the end of the half where it definitely should have been intercepted and just went through the DB's hands. It was not a good performance from Trey Lance. I know the line did him no favors, but by no stretch of the imagination could you have watched Trey Lance yesterday and came out with a positive feeling about how he performed, or really about his future anyways. It just was not a good performance.
Guys were saying something pretty similar, but I got to give it to you, Chris, for the idea of the should have been interception
Should have been.
stats.
Yeah, some tipped balls or
the
something.
Sheebies should have been
Sheebies,
intercepted.
yes.
Yeah.
He had 2 Sheebies yesterday.
2 Sheebies. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, that's too many Sheebies. So, yeah, and we create a new stat. So, how about that? Sheebies.
All right, let's stick with the NFL. The NFL would be better off without any preseason games. Fact or fantasy, Chris?
Yeah, that's also a fantasy. I mean, you need some preseason games. I understand that they're not exciting for the common, even the hardcore fans have trouble watching preseason games, but GMs and coaches still need to figure out the end of their roster. There's 53 guys that make a game day roster for football. It's not 12 like in basketball or any other sport that has, less than 50. That's a lot of guys that you got to figure out pecking orders and if you're comfortable playing people. So whether it's entertaining or not for the fans isn't really important. It's actually a really important part of putting a football team together. So even though it's not entertaining, it is necessary, at least for a couple games.
Let's see here. The NFL season would be better without any preseason games. That is a fact.
That's the fact.
And I hate to do this. My colleague, we know he's not great with math when he talks about the 12
Terrible
players
at math.
on an NBA roster.
I think there's 15.
NBA rosters are limited to 15 players during the regular season. But be that as it may, there's nothing that teams can't accomplish in the joint practices that they accomplish now in these preseason games that are so meaningless. The best players don't play. It's unfair to the people that have to pay all that money to watch them. It's probably safer for players in a more controlled practice environment. Can you imagine the excitement if, even now it's like the Hall of Fame game, hey, it's football, that wears off. But what if the first game we saw of the year was actually the first game? I think we're headed that way. We'll have a longer regular season, hopefully no preseason games. We don't need them. Everything would be a lot safer and more exciting if we did not have a preseason.
You know what, Chris, your point of for the NFL to be better, we need to think of the poor general managers, thinking of the last man on the rosters. Sorry, that point goes to Whitey. We don't need any.
The product would be garbage. Week 1, if there was no preseason, no ramp up, no, teams would look terrible. I'm sticking by it.
I don't think you're allowed to.
All right, you can continue thinking that. You're continually wrong.
No, file an appeal, but just a little,
It's fine. No, it's fine. I'm just, stating my case.
Okay, let's go back to 49ers game. The way the 49ers got shoved around by the Raiders all weekend is not cause for alarm, but it is cause for concern, Whitey.
That is a fantasy. The way they got shoved around is not cause for alarm, nor is it cause for concern. There were things that are cause for some concern, the way Trey Lance played, the way Jake Moody kicked, but I don't think those had anything to do with the way the 49ers were shoved around. They were shoved around in part yesterday because they had their second unit offensive line and they couldn't match up with the Raiders. And also there was just more intensity from the Raiders in the first 2 joint practices, according to eyewitnesses. That's not ideal, but given the talent on this 49er roster, I don't think the way the 49ers were out physicaled so far in the first preseason game and 2 practices, I don't think that's cause for alarm or concern.
It is a fantasy. You're correct about that, but that's it is cause for both concern and it was alarming. 100%. I mean, definitely the Niners are very top heavy. We understand that the key players on this team weren't playing in that preseason game, but it just shows me that they are a couple injuries away from really, really being desperate. This is a team that has Super Bowl aspirations. You cannot just be banking on the health of your guys. Granted, they have more important, totality, more important players to their team than what I traditionally see. You don't traditionally see so many playmakers have such big impact, but, we're talking about some linemen going down. I mean, if Christian McCaffrey goes down, they're just not far away from really being desperate. And that became very apparent to me over that preseason game, is just the depth is not there.
Okay, so Whitey, you said that was fantasy.
Because it's not
no
concerning
cause for alarm
or
or
alarm.
concern, because, yes, that's what I said.
Okay, but the question was, the weekend is not cause for alarm.
Or concern.
Or concern.
Wait, is cause for concern. His says,
I think
is
you
cause
answered
for
it right.
No, it's cause for concern, not cause for alarm. I said it's fantasy. It's not cause
Okay,
for
okay.
It's not
I
cause
see
for
what
either.
you're saying.
Yeah,
okay.
he's saying it's not cause for either. I'm saying it is cause for both.
But you both had fantasy. But
Both
you
have
both said-
fantasy, but we said opposite reasons for fantasy.
Oh man, this is a tough one
Just
today,
think
guys.
about the one who didn't make you think about all that stuff. That's what I was
You know what? I'm gonna go with that, Chris. You made me think the least amount about what the answer was.
Thank you.
You get the win for
Starting
today.
off the week
Congratulations.
strong. Give me that thing. Oh, look at that.
I don't even understand what happened.
Come on. That's the problem. That's the
Well,
problem.
Chris seems very confident about it, so I think I made the right decision.
Exactly. When in doubt, just act like you know what you're doing, and let me tell you, you'll get really far.
Okay.
You'll get really far.
Yeah. You sure look like you know what you're doing.
I look like a winner. I'm telling you, I feel like a winner. I look like a winner.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Chris Watkins. Well played. This 49er quarterback competition. Tell you what, it's not what it seems to be. That's next here with Whitey and Watkins. Watkins, the winner today on Sactown Sports.
Whitey
and Watkins
on Sactown Sports. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Most of the people that have won the MVP of the G League had little to no career in the NBA, and most of you wouldn't even know. And Cade is right there. I don't know how much more he can learn from those folks.
I don't know how much Nerlens Noel will play. I don't know how much Alex Len will play. I don't know how much Nimi Keita will play. We know Sabonis will play a ton, but they tended to go in high leverage, meaningful situations, playoff time. They go to Trey Lyles.
Absolutely.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Dawn or dusk, I'm on the hunt. Skeeter here, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District, and I'm wearing Skeeter Vision, night vision goggles that light up skeeters at dawn or dusk like the 4th of July. Mosquito, 12 o'clock. Got him. So fight the bite by wearing long sleeves and pants at dawn or dusk when they're most active. Apply insect repellent and drain stagnant water. It's a breeding ground.
Dawn or dusk, the Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you to fight the bite. For more information or to report problems, go to fightthebite.net.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Did you know the average person walks 100,000 miles in their lifetime? It's true. That's a whole lot of stress, strain, and pressure ultimately put on 2 feet. Hi, DC Doug Christie here for the Good Feet store. As a spokesperson for Good Feet, I run into all sorts of surprising foot-related facts. Like despite relatively few Americans being born with foot issues, over time, 75% of all adults will experience painful foot or foot-related problems. By supporting all 4 arches of the foot, the Good Feet 3-step arch support system can help return your foot and whole body to its proper alignment. Come to the Good Feet store for a free, no obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk. Experience the comfort, balance, and support of the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
What would it take for a plumbing company to earn your trust? Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And let's face it, plumbing and service companies don't always have the best reputation.
So to earn your trust, the first thing they'd have to do is actually answer the phone when you call with a real live person. Then they'd have to send a plumber when you needed them, day or night, without charging extra for emergency services.
A trustworthy plumber would show up on time, wearing a clean uniform and name badge, and be able to show that they had passed a background check and drug test.
A plumber you could trust would give you a firm quote on the job before starting and clean up after they finish the job.
That's exactly the plumber you'll get when you call Bell Brothers, a plumber you can trust. Call Bell Brothers right now for all your plumbing needs. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Experience a golf tournament as refined as you are. The Fortinet Championship returns to Silverado Resort September 14th through the 17th. Be there as the best of Napa meets the best of the PGA Tour. With wine experiences, rockin' shows, and incredible golf. It's like this weekend was made for you. The Fortinet Championship, September 14th through the 17th. For tickets, go to FortinetChampionship.com.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlot with your Sactown Sports headlines. The 49ers had their first preseason game of the year where they lost 34-7 to the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday. Trey Lance was 10 of 15 on the day, throwing for 112 yards and 1 touchdown. Sam Darnold was 5 of 8, throwing for 84 yards. The Niners will be back in action this Saturday when they host the Denver Broncos. You can listen to Saturday's game right here on Sactown Sports. The James Harden situation has gone from bad to worse this weekend between Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers. There was reporting during the weekend that the 76ers ended trade talks involving James Harden. And this morning in China at an Adidas media event, Harden called 76ers general manager Daryl Morey a liar and also said he will never be part of an organization that he is a part of. It is 102 Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
Before we get back to the 49ers and Trey Lance and what's really going on with the 49er quarterback situation, I wanted to take a moment, Chris, to applaud and extend good wishes towards Damar Hamlin, who was very active in his return to the field for the Buffalo Bills on Saturday. Damar Hamlin, the guy that nearly died on the field at the end of last year on a Monday night game against Cincinnati, back on the field this weekend.
Yes, very good to see. And, especially with, the brawny thing that happened about a month ago and, just the increased amount of health scares that's happening with athletes. It's really good to hear that he made a full, recovery, I guess. And
sure.
And, he the fact that he's right back to game action the following season, I think is obviously a huge win. And, just to have him living and breathing is obviously a huge win. But the fact that he's still able to play football and really have no further concern that anything like that is going to happen again, I think is obviously a huge success story for what could have been obviously something incredibly tragic.
Clearly the doctor said, look, what happened to you was really a freak accident.
Yeah.
You are not prone to anything like that. What happened to you doesn't make you any more likely to suffer that again. It could happen, but it would take a really, really highly unlikely set of circumstances.
Right.
And you're as safe to play now as you were before. You almost died on the field.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it any easier, right? Just knowing that information is nice, but that doesn't make it easier to actually go put the pads on, put the helmet on, step out there. I mean, that still takes a ridiculous amount of courage and a whole lot of, you have to really want to do something like that. And I think it really just speaks to how much he loves football and was determined from day one to make sure that he stepped back on the field. And yeah, I mean, obviously wishing nothing but good health for him in his career moving forward.
According to NFL.com, Hamlin's comeback, a remarkable story, played without hesitation, very active, blitzing and knifing in on a number of running plays, showed zero signs of all that he went through last season.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine the amount of just mental gymnastics you would have to do in order to play like that again. I mean, just to have no hesitation on anything, it's really remarkable. And this is maybe a movie that I would want to see is the Damar Hamlin story because like we learned this morning with The Blind Side, not so much truth and not so much such a great story as they tried to lead on, but this Damar Hamlin thing seems to be as truly as good of a story and as good of an outcome as what you could have hoped for.
I don't know what his family situation is, but I would think for anybody in his family that would be. It'd be tough for them to watch that every time he's down for whatever reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're screaming, you're watching through your fingers. It's got to be an incredibly tough situation when it's somebody and you love that's playing the game. And I'm sure he's had multiple different conversations with tons of family members, but all that really matters is he feels confident in himself and he's gotten all of the medical clearance as you would probably guess the NFL wasn't just going to allow him on the field because he really wanted to. It was going to have to be all things checked off and made sure, okay, he's 100% healthy. Exactly.
I'm sure the league cares about their players. That's first and foremost. But aside from that,
safety,
it's like,
right?
we can't put you out there if you're going to put the entire league at any kind of, insurance danger. Oh, I wouldn't sue it. No, but the fact they could do it, clearly they got the medical clearance. And,
yeah. All
you're no
systems
more
go.
likely to have that happen than you were before it happened.
Right.
And
and it's crazy because beforehand, I don't think most, especially casual football watchers, even knew who Damar Hamlin was. And now he's somebody, let's not forget, he is a starter, and he's somebody who could have real impact for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations as well. So, the Damar Hamlin story might not even be close to being over.
Is Trey Lance going to be a starter for a team with Super Bowl aspirations?
No, he's not. I'm sorry, Trey. I know you really, really want it, but it's just,
I didn't say the 49ers. No, I just said a team with Super Bowl aspirations.
Starting quarterback? No, not anytime soon. Not anytime soon.
What's really going on here, in my opinion, is that the 49ers have pretty much made up their mind, or Kyle Shanahan, because he's, I heard somebody, frankly, on another station talking about, John Lynch has to, Shanahan makes all the decisions. John Lynch is the GM, but Shanahan makes the decisions.
Personnel decisions, absolutely.
Lynch works for Shanahan. I know it's not normally like that when you have a GM, but that's the way it works.
Yes, they're in lockstep, 100%.
Yeah,
there's not a move made that Kyle does not have the okay on.
Lynch wouldn't be there if Shanahan didn't want him there. Lynch is, Shanahan runs everything.
Yes.
So anyway, my feeling is that at this point, Shanahan has a pretty good idea who his guy is, and it's Brock Purdy, clearly. And it looks like he really likes Sam Darnold as his backup.
He sure
and it's
does.
clearly the fact that Allen is still out there and he made a good throw yesterday, likes him too. And I really think at this point in Kyle Shanahan's mind, could be wrong, but it looks to me like they are showcasing Trey Lance. They'd love to see him play well. They want to trade him for whatever they can get. And if he plays great to the point where they have to reevaluate that, that's a good problem to have. But I think that's the way Kyle Shanahan's looking at it right now.
Yeah, I think so. The unfortunate thing is just the showcase didn't go well. I mean, if the goal was to showcase him, I definitely don't think that it was a successful mission, because I can't imagine that any of the other 31 teams out there looked at Lance's play the other day and came away from it thinking, okay, if we just put that in our offense and our system, there's something there. I think, he definitely got a tough look from the offensive line. Didn't do him many favors. The pass rush was in his face the entire time, but Lance still really struggled in the small opportunities that he had. He was able to escape the pocket a couple times and make, some decent plays, but nothing really explosive, nothing that would make you feel like, okay, there's definitely some star potential here. I think at this point, is Trey Lance even like a quarterback that you can put on the field and feel comfortable with running a system? I have questions on if in any situation he really would have looked good. I think he clearly showed he's not a starting level quarterback in the NFL as it stands right now. Can he even be a backup? I think it is kind of, if you're just looking at the performance from yesterday, that's the question that I have.
There's also this, when you look at this whole thing, big picture. Last year, of course, Trey Lance got hurt again. Very unfortunate. But, before he got hurt, he wasn't playing well. They lost that. And I know the weather was terrible in Chicago, but the offense just stopped.
Yeah, it completely, it looked completely different when Brock Purdy was in. And like you said, that Chicago game, it was tough to evaluate anything from that, but it was clear that the offense wasn't to the level that we saw later in that season with Jimmy or with Purdy. We're getting towards the point where it's like, I think you said it earlier, he's got to show something on the football field that makes you feel positively. And there just hasn't been many moments when he's playing, in the few opportunities he's gotten, where you felt positive about the direction it's going, especially in year 3 now. It just feels like at the very minimum, he's back to square one, back to rookie season. And that's not where you should obviously be in your 3rd year as a quarterback.
As Tim Kawakami wrote today, the 49ers, no matter where Trey Lance ends up, and he may not go anywhere, but they owe him a lot of money. They have a lot invested in him. So clearly, hey, you get to start. I assume he'll get at least the next start. So there is still a chance for him to to change the thinking, but I think Kyle Shanahan at this point is looking to showcase him. I think they'd love it if somebody were interested. Could we play that Dan Orlovsky one more time from Get Out or Get Up or Get In? And there's two sides to this. This was Dan Orlovsky today on ESPN's Get Up talking about Trey Lance and the way he played against the Raiders.
I don't think Trey Lance can play in Kyle Shanahan's offense. I've seen enough. He doesn't have enough reps playing football. That's a reality. That ball is almost intercepted. It should go to the left because the guy's wide open. The ball doesn't come out quick enough for Trey right now. And I think that after watching yesterday, he's so much more comfortable as an under center quarterback than a shotgun quarterback. But Kyle's offense has really become a shotgun offense. It's become ball distribution. It's become play point guard. It's become get it out quickly. And that's just not where Trey is right now. I want to be fair to Trey. He got better as the game went on, and that's why those reps matter. I just don't think he can play in Kyle Shanahan's offense. He should have thrown 2 interceptions. The ball gets held so long for him right now, and it hasn't gotten better in the 3 years that he's been in the NFL.
If Orlovsky's right, maybe he's not. If he's right to say that Trey Lance can't play in Kyle Shanahan's system is not the same as saying Trey Lance can't play.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, because you talked about it, and Orlovsky definitely pointed towards it. Kyle likes a point guard. He likes a guy who just runs the offense. That's it. You don't have to be a Kyrie Irving, be a Ricky Rubio. That's what I want. Just distribute the ball, find the playmakers, let the playmakers go out there and do all the hard stuff. Trey doesn't even, in this system doesn't seem to be able to even get to there. I mean, even in the pass rush situation, that's ideally when you would want to get the ball out quickly. And it didn't seem like he understood even that, which is a pretty basic principle of being a quarterback. If there's a pass rush, if your line doesn't have it, you have to get the ball out quickly. And that's just something you need to know. There's no time to progress throughout your reads. You see something, you throw it. And it just doesn't feel like Trey has that quick twitch passing ability down yet. It just feels like he's still going through the process of trusting his own reads.
There was one of those sacks where he had kind of the pump. So it's like he's looking at something, unless it was a pump fake, right? Possible. But he's just not making the reads quick enough. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean he can't in another system. That's why, again, all I'm saying, I'm not saying Trey Lance is terrible. I'm saying I think this whole thing is trending towards Trey Lance being somewhere else. Yeah. Maybe sooner rather than later, but by the start of the year. But then I have no idea what other teams look at him and say, yeah, we like him. Yeah. And teams know we don't have to give up much to get him right now.
Right. Yeah. And that's the appealing thing. If you are, some other team out there that's even looking for a quarterback in the future, just a developmental project, I think you could convince yourself that maybe if you have a better offensive line than what the Niners have, okay, maybe with some more time, maybe there's something there. I think you could convince yourself of it. And if you're a team that has ever believed that Trey Lance could be a guy, I think now is the time to strike while the iron's hot and while the Niners probably are as down on Trey as they've been this entire time. I think now would be the time, if you are a team interested, go out and get him. And if you truly believe that there's something there, or he can look better in your system, which it'd be tough to imagine him looking worse. I think now would definitely be the time to call up John Lynch and see what they're willing to do to part with him.
And if I'm wrong, and if Orlovsky's wrong, and if Trey's wants to prove everybody wrong, great. But he just has to do it. Yeah. It has to happen. And it's not fair that he didn't play because of the pandemic, or he's been hurt. He needs reps. Yes, all true, but football's not fair. No. You just got to start doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to look good. And it's got to, again, it can look good in practice too. It doesn't even have to be in preseason games.
Apparently he had been making strides in practice.
Strides. So, yes. As I think Brian Greasy said, he gave himself a chance to be accurate. So, he's clearly made some strides along the way, but clearly it just isn't there. And I mean, what we saw yesterday, it just looks like the game is frankly too fast for him. And the only way that you're going to get more comfortable is by getting reps. And at this point, it seems like the only way he's going to get the necessary reps is if he changes situation, because they've been splitting this quarterback thing 4 ways the entirety of camp pretty much. And even now Trey's not maximizing the amount of reps he can get. So I just think that the best thing for Trey Lance, and it's trending towards the best thing for the 49ers, is just get him out of there, get him somewhere where maybe he has a chance to succeed. But I just think here in San Francisco, it just doesn't appear like he's going to have a good chance to find any success.
And how much do the 49ers believe in Brock Purdy? The answer to that may surprise you. And we have it for you next year on Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Will Brandon Ayuk emerge as a star in the Bay this season?
Now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk.
Can Fred Warner lead the Niners defense to another deep playoff run?
And Fred Warner with the INT.
Big City, baby! Will Brock Purdy hold on to his starting quarterback job?
Purdy going to drop back to pass, try to run for it and go to the end zone standing.
Down and Purdy, baby! Tune into Niners at 9 every day on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
On Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
At the UPS store, you can ship it all. We're your bulky sports equipment shipping store, your heavy luggage shipping store, your fancy art shipping store. We're even your I can't believe it's already time for back to school shipping store. So visit your neighborhood We Ship It All store for dependable UPS shipping with easy to use tracking and competitive rates. The UPS store. Be unstoppable. The UPS store locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours may vary. See Center for details.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
At your desk, on your phone, in the car.
Whitey and Watkins.
On Sactown Sports.
What's this about Ryan and Sactown on the chat? Where did all the Niner car flags go that I saw yesterday? Raider fan much, Ryan? And that's fine if you are. I'm just, it's one preseason game. I didn't see a lot of those car flags.
I didn't either. No, I haven't seen any car flags. I haven't seen any flags go down that were once up. I don't think anyone is no longer a Niner fan, though I will say that there is, for the super casuals, there does tend to be an uptick in "we won" posts when the Niners are humming, and when they're not, social media does tend to be quiet. So I hear what you're saying, Ryan. I definitely do, but I don't think now is the time to speak up about it. There will be a time, but not now.
Jack Goff with a very pertinent question. So
is
what
he Jared's
happens?
Cousin?
I'm going to say he's his brother.
Okay.
Jack Goff.
Could it just be him? Same initials, JG.
Yeah.
You're not fooling anyone, Jared.
What happens when Lance follows this game up with 2 average or above average games? You guys will be singing a completely different tune. It'll be, is Brock Purdy's job safe? People are overreacting.
No.
Jack, your own example you gave here, I understand your point. It's a good one. But it's going to take more than 2 average or above average games for Trey Lance to change the narrative here.
Yeah, the only way that the narrative was going to get changed, even before Sunday, was Lance was going to have to be spectacular. It was going to have to be, wow, how can you realistically hold this guy out? That 2 above average games might say, okay, maybe Lance is an interesting backup quarterback, and maybe if things don't go well, maybe Purdy, maybe you can start raising some questions. But that was best case scenario. Purdy's got this thing locked down. We've talked about countless times how Purdy is clearly, especially for this system, like he's clearly the right guy. I don't think 2 good games would change the conversation.
Thanks, Pike 916. That's probably not that guy's name at all, and I'm sorry I read that anyway. Okay. Let's see here.
I see what he did there.
Yeah, so
got him.
Yeah. Got him. Got me.
That's funny.
That's fine. Hope you enjoyed that. But the thing is, you've got Dan Orlovsky when he's saying, he just can't he can't play in this offense. That's not overreacting, because that's something we've seen over and over and over and over.
Yeah, no, this quarterback situation, it's going to continue to be the talk, even regardless of what happens during the games, I mean, it's going to continue to be the conversation. But I don't think that Trey realistically has any shot of even entering the conversation at this point. I think the best that they can hope is that they feel like Trey can run the system, but I think all hopes of Trey Lance being the savior, at least this year, are pretty much gone. And I don't think that that's just because of one preseason game. I think it's been what the 49ers have been trying to tell us for a couple of weeks now.
Listen to this.
Okay.
How much do the
Turn my volume
49ers
up.
believe in Brock Purdy? How much does Kyle Shanahan believe in Brock Purdy?
He's the guy.
Albert Breer today, Sports Illustrated. You should check out this story if you're interested in this at all. He went last week, talked to the 49ers, talked to Kyle Shanahan about, among other things, the idea that Brock Purdy will be the quarterback for the next decade. All right?
Okay. Interesting.
Will Brock Purdy be the quarterback for the next decade?
You have my attention.
Kyle Shanahan. That's a big statement.
It is.
Especially when you say a decade.
It's a long time.
The games Brock played in, he played at as high a level as you could ask for. As consistent a level as you can ask for.
Okay. Where's the but?
Hell yeah, you can win with that and be very happy with it. That was 7 full games. There's a lot that goes into it, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, we played good enough in those games to say we're going to him this year. And to go with a guy for 1 year means you better believe that stuff. So there is no but. There's a couple of ands.
Okay. That's not like a sweeping, overwhelming, yes, oh my gosh, how dare you even ask that question? Of course. I don't know. I wouldn't say there's some backtracking there, but it's definitely, I'm just going to state facts. He played well for us last year, well enough to earn the starting job this year.
To go with a guy for 1 year means you better believe that stuff. When he says that stuff, I think he's saying, as far as we're concerned, he's going to be here a long time.
Or he's saying as long as he plays that well this season, he'll be back next season, and it's kind of a year to year. If you continue to play well, we'll continue to have you. But the second that the play stops, which I'm not.
That's just football, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's definitely, it's more than what I think he would say about Trey Lance at this time and point. But I don't know. I don't think that that's necessarily him saying, yes, definitely Brock Purdy is our guy for the next decade. He said some things in the past that definitely, when you add the culmination of previous statements on top of that, for sure. I mean, like him saying the other day, like Brock is, what did he say? He's got the special stuff, or he's
the real deal.
He's the real deal. That's what it was.
Again, Jimmy was always like, oh, you can win with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Almost like he was trying to convince himself.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just we haven't seen Purdy in so long. I have not seen this guy is 100% solidified in our quarterback for the next 10 years. I think as long as Shanahan's your essentially your offensive coordinator, I think he's fine. But the second, if Shanahan were to leave the team for whatever reason, being fired or finding a different opportunity, I don't think Brock Purdy is the type of guy who would be a starting quarterback for 32 or 31 other teams.
You may be right.
Like, I'm not willing to say that Brock Purdy, in his own talents by himself, stand alone, is a good enough quarterback to be, as Kyle would say, the real deal. I think he's the real deal in this system, with this team, with the talent that surrounds him. But as an individual entity, I'm not sold yet on Brock Purdy.
Here's my point. I don't think you disagree. Maybe you will. But we had Hondo Carpenter on Friday, and the Raider reporter, and he told us what went down in the joint scrimmages. And I asked him about the quarterbacks, and I was talking about Darnold and Trey, and I wasn't clear in that, but I asked him, and he said, Brock Purdy is everything you see here. He's the guy. He's the starter. Yeah. Well, we know that. And not only do we know that, and again, Hondo is a great reporter. This has nothing to do with him. Right. But not only do we know that, but now Kyle Shanahan, it's very clear that in Kyle Shanahan's mind, that's not an issue at all.
It's not even
and it can
question.
change. It's a football coach.
Yeah.
Football coach says, well, guy's playing poorly. We got to shake things up. But in Kyle's mind right now, they've got their guy, the real deal, he calls it.
It's not even a question. Yeah, while everyone has been asking the question of, is there any quarterback controversy? Kyle has been very clear and adamant since before we even knew Brock Purdy was going to be able to play at this moment in time. Like, we were all still under the impression that right now at this moment, Brock Purdy might not still be even able to practice yet. Before all of that, Shanahan was saying, this is QB1. Like, there's no doubt in our minds that Brock Purdy, if he is healthy, will be QB1. And, Purdy, to his credit, got healthy really early before training camp even started. And now that he's playing, and now that we've seen what his backups look like, I mean, there should be no question that Brock Purdy definitely earned the starting job after his performance last year. And frankly, the other options they have aren't even close to where Purdy performed.
Kyle talked about last week. The term he used was excited. I'm excited to see Sam Darnold. Trey Lance, he says, he almost made a heck of a play on that interception. And he doesn't even believe that.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
To me, it's very clear how this is all going.
I think so.
If it gets to that point, if I'm right, 49er fans will be howling.
Absolutely. They're going to be so upset when Brandon Allen makes the team over Trey Lance, whether it be, I don't think Lance will get cut, but at this point, if he continues to play like how he did Sunday, anything I think is on the table. But I think definitely 49er fans are not going to be happy when the three quarterbacks are Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, and Brandon Allen.
And it would be a huge miss for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch unless you win a Super Bowl. Because that's what it's all about anyway.
It's the only thing that remedies it, right, is winning cures all. And if they don't win, I think it's just going to be viewed as a huge misstep in the entire team building process. The fact that they missed on the most important position in sports and they went all in on a guy that they really didn't know anything about.
Coming up, KG, Kevin Garnett says LeBron, Kevin Durant says they're old. They need to take on new roles. Detail that for you.
Kevin Garnett says someone.
Kevin Garnett, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it's a colorful way of saying it too. Next, Whitey and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third, your scorer is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track, makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Dad, I don't feel good.
I'll grab the Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey.
Isn't DayQuil just for parents?
Actually, Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey is just for kids, specially designed to treat kids' most bothersome cold symptoms quickly with a honeylicious tasting flavor kids like.
You know what else kids like?
DayQuil Kids Honey first, then video games.
Deal.
Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey, the kids' honeylicious daytime coughing, congestion, stuffy head, stuffy nose medicine. Safe for ages 6+.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion, never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents. Expert advice.
And there's number 4.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Enjoy the prime grilling season today with a new lifetime warranty Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. My personal Napoleon P500 series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro. Napoleon Prestige grills, versatile grilling for every occasion. Form, function, and luxury can come in the same package. Just go to your local Green Acres Nursery and Supply for the best selection today, or visit Napoleon.com for a dealer near you.
Y'all ready to do it again, Sacramento? Country in the Park 2 is coming to Hart Health Park at Cal Expo Saturday, September 9th. With Cole Swindell, Chris Jansen, Dylan Scott, and more. Plus, a mechanical pool, line dancing saloon, and all the food. Tickets start at $40, or grab your Coors Light Y'all Access passes for $125. For more info, visit SactownSports.com. Country in the Park 2. Brought to you by Shane Company, Attic Man Heating and Air Conditioning, and the United States Marines.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you check your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. but some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
The PGA Club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531. At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. At Elk Grove Honda, we include many benefits that a private seller just can't match. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection, and our certified pre-owned Hondas are under 5 years old. So you know you're getting the newest Hondas in prime condition. See our exceptional selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Chris Rillard with your Sactown Sports Headlines. The 49ers had their first preseason game of the year where they lost 34-7 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Trey Lance was 10 of 15 on the day, throwing for 112 yards and 1 touchdown. And Sam Darnold was 5 of 8 in the game, throwing for 84 yards. Niners will be back in action this Saturday when they host the Denver Broncos. You can listen to Saturday's game right here on Sactown Sports. James Harden's situation has gone from bad to worse this weekend between Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers. It was reported during the weekend that the 76ers ended trade talks involving James Harden. This morning in China at an Adidas media event, Harden called 76ers general manager Daryl Morey a liar. He also said he will never be part of an organization that he is a part of. It is 133 Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. Those are your headlines. Now let's get back to Whitey and Watkins.
So James Harden to Daryl Morey, I wish you weren't a liar.
Pretty much.
I wish you weren't a liar.
Yeah. He's just like, lied.
Oh, we got to get Frankie in here. Frankie has some breaking news, so we're going to get Frankie in here. Before we do that.
Frankie, can you hear us?
Yeah,
Are you
Frankie.
out there?
We're on radio, Frankie. Can you come in? Before
Mr.
we get to that,
Dagnall.
yeah, TC joins us, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. TC, you're on with Whitey and Watkins. What's up, TC? TC, are you there?
What's up, Whitey? What's
Hey.
up, Watkins?
Hey,
what up?
Fire away. Fire when ready.
All right. Hey, check it out. Hey. So, we didn't sound like we just bashing Trey. You know what I'm saying? I'm not making excuses. He was indecisive. Get rid of the ball, bro. You know what I'm saying? Run the ball when it's not there. Just get the ball out your hand. And if it's not there, break down, then run. He knows that. You get what I'm saying? So this situation, let's let it play out. It doesn't have to bash him. Overall, the team looked horrible. The most important thing, other than just it's about Trey, it's about the line, too. He had no time to throw. That line is scary. Even the starters, the whole training camp, that joint practice, all of that. Other than Trent Williams, bro, we don't know what's going on with there. And they've been struggling all camp, even with the Raiders. They was down there getting bullied. Nobody's talking about that. That line was suspect. Not making excuses for Lance, but, bro, just get the ball out. But as far as keep bashing him all day, let that go, man. Let it play out how it's going to play out. There's 2 more games. Now, if he's looking indecisive the rest of the preseason game and it's looking shaky and all that, then we can make it a judgment. But as far as right now, he coming back from the injury just like Brock came back from the injury. So let it play out. Let's stop bashing him. Let it play out. But look at that picture overall. How did everything else play around?
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you for listening. So is he saying we should bash him or we shouldn't bash him?
Shouldn't bash him.
Should not.
Should
yeah.
not bash him.
And it's a great point about the injury.
Right,
Thank
yeah,
you,
it is.
TC.
Truly is. Yeah.
But I don't, I'm trying to be objective. I'm not trying to bash him.
No, not at all. I mean,
says it's about fit and things, but I got you. We do, there's still time for this narrative to change.
I think we've been very fair. We mentioned the line play, and the line was very unspectacular. I gave them an F in their report card. I think the line was terrible, and I even said, like, the line didn't do Trey any favors. But the fact is, I mean, Sam Darnold had to deal with the same line, if not even further down the depth chart, and as did Brandon Allen, and none of those guys really showed as much struggle as what Trey did. And, I think Trey, I also mentioned, had a couple positives. He did roll out on a couple throws and make a couple of plays. But, I mean, it was really overwhelming to me, the fact that you watched his performance, and it was just, for the most part, really underwhelming. And you mentioned, he needed to get the ball out. It was really clear that he was just holding on to the ball way too long. And I just think I have the big storyline from that game was what's going to happen with the quarterbacks. And if we're just looking at what happened quarterback versus quarterback, I mean, Trey clearly didn't win that battle yesterday.
Here's the deal with Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett, the newest episode of Ticket and the Truth drops today.
That podcast is something else. That podcast is something else. It is Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce just letting it fly.
Paul Pierce was I'll say this, as a podcaster and broadcaster, he was a really good player. That's what
that's a fair assessment.
Thank you.
I will parrot that.
I mean, a really good player.
He's a really good player. That's what I will say about it.
Kevin Garnett talking about LeBron and KD. And Kevin Garnett's been through this, right?
He has.
LeBron and KD, it's time for them to be spot up. Excuse me. It's time for them to be spot up. We done gave the ball to them for like ages. This is 20 years where I gave them the ball, telling them, can they play off the ball once? Can they go in the corner and now someone make a play, make it for them to get a free shot?
I don't know. I don't know, KG. Like, that could just be ticket talking, I guess. But that's like, I'm not going to treat LeBron and Kevin Durant like they're, I mean, God bless Keegan Murray, but I'm not going to treat them like they're Keegan Murray. I'm not going to have them stand in the corner and wait for the ball to get in their hands. Like, especially with LeBron James, like, that's kind of LeBron's deal, is he makes everybody else better by having the ball.
He
in
can play
his
off
hand.
the ball more than he used to, especially, Reeves has shown he can run the offense.
Right.
And I guess the point was, as far as Kevin Durant goes, that Devin Booker's got to have the ball in his hand.
Sure, and that's a fine argument to make, that Devin Booker, it's equally Devin Booker's team as it is Kevin Durant's, and KD is definitely not LeBron James when it comes to creating for others and setting up teammates, but
turning Kevin Durant into PJ Tucker,
that's what I'm saying. That's not the answer.
Win.
That's just not the answer.
That's a lose-lose.
You got to have your best players have the ball in their hand as much as possible. That's how you gain the biggest advantage possible. I think we've learned that a couple years ago. It's not quite the NBA that Kevin Garnett entered, where it is about getting multiple people touches, and the term ball hog really was prominent during that time. That just doesn't really exist nowadays. And, frankly, if you're going to be a really good team, you got to put the ball in your best players' hands as much as possible and just let them work. That's the NBA that we're in now.
That's why I never would have wanted Stephon Marbury on my team, because he's running point. He's got Kevin Garnett on his team with the Timberwolves, and he's like, he didn't like it.
It's me time.
If you're
it's
a point guard, you got Kevin Garnett
time
on your team. It's like, hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure Kevin Garnett wouldn't want to have heard this when he was, late years with the Brooklyn Nets or anything like that. I'm sure KG was calling for the ball more than anybody. And, I don't know. I hear what he's saying, and it's more of an indictment on the teams that they're on, not necessarily KD, but in LeBron's case, like, LeBron has been asking for a while now, can somebody else take the ball down the floor? I think that's what he really loved about Kyrie, was he could put the ball in someone else's hands and trust that they will do something positive. The Lakers, I mean, he loved playing with Rondo for that same exact reason. He just has a really tough time getting people's trust or giving out trust to others. And hopefully Gabe Vincent can gain LeBron's trust and they'll put the ball in his hands. But I wouldn't suspect that that's going to be a thing. I just think LeBron is probably going to continue to have the ball in his hands for a good majority of the time. I mean, and it's tough to argue against it.
When those guys, it's going to happen at some point, when both those guys, LeBron and KD, when they do become that player, then they're no longer worth the money that they're getting.
Absolutely.
They're no longer going to help your team win that much. And I don't think they're there yet, to their credit.
No, to both of their credit. I think both are still in the situation where your team is a lot better giving them the ball and letting them dictate everything. I mean, especially more so in LeBron's case. I am willing to hear the Kevin Durant conversation because Devin Booker is really on the rise, and KD could probably benefit more and could be better utilized than LeBron as a spot-up shooter. But even then, it's like that team still goes as far as Kevin Durant takes them.
Coming up, we got the crossover with J-Mars, and I think we have some partial Kings schedule information to share.
Yes.
Partial. Yeah, we're trying to get to the bottom of it. Either way, we've got it for you next year. Whitey Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Kings preseason schedule is out, and Sactown Sports has you covered. Preseason stops include Vancouver, Anaheim, San Francisco, and Sacramento, with matchups against the Raptors, Lakers, Warriors, and Jazz.
Monk in attack mode, drives inside, right to the rim. And that's the dagger right there. I think the Warriors fans sensed that with that breakdown, the Warriors look like a defeated ball club.
Catch all the action on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. What a day on Sunday as the A's inducted their latest group of Hall of Famers, including Bob Johnson, Roy Steele, Gene Tennis, Carney Lansford, and Jason Giambi. And how about the luminaries on the field before the game? Campy Campaneris, Dennis Eckersley, Dave Stewart, Joe Rudy, Raleigh Fingers, Ricky Henderson, Tony La Russa, Steve Usnich, and Keith Lippman. Quite a bit of history. Ken Korak here, introducing you to the Xfinity 10G network. Xfinity is undergoing a multi-year network evolution, giving you a powerful connection today while building toward a faster, more reliable tomorrow. The Xfinity 10G network gives you the fastest internet with even faster speeds rolling out all the time. You also get a consistent and reliable connection when everyone's online, even during peak hours. That's a home run. If you want to learn more, go online at xfinity.com/10G.
Everyone loves to be outside, and so do mosquitoes. Protect yourself against mosquitoes and West Nile virus by following these simple tips. At least once a week, look around your yard and drain stagnant water from any containers where mosquitoes can breed. Remember to use an effective mosquito repellent, especially at dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Close all doors and be sure screens are in good working condition. At the Mosquito and Vector Control District, we're here to help. Visit us at fightthebite.net.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Did you know the average person walks 100,000 miles in their lifetime? It's true. That's a whole lot of stress, strain, and pressure ultimately put on 2 feet. Hi, DC Doug Christie here for the Good Feet store. As a spokesperson for Good Feet, I run into all sorts of surprising foot-related facts. Like, despite relatively few Americans being born with foot issues, over time, 75% of all adults will experience painful foot or foot-related problems. By supporting all 4 arches of the foot, the Good Feet 3-step arch support system can help return your foot and whole body to its proper alignment. Come to the Good Feet store for a free, no obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk. Experience the comfort, balance, and support of the Good Feet 3-step arch support system. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com. You know what time it is. It's time to trade up to a brand new Kia at Folsom Lake Kia. Trade up to the newest technology with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
Check out Whitey and Watkins now on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and watch the show from your desk.
What a show we have here. Look who's here, Jake. Getting ready for the afternoon show. You and Gary Sharp.
Sure, yeah, man.
Who's that?
Gary does radio in Omaha.
Okay.
But, you know, we tagged him in for this afternoon.
Nice. All right.
Trying to give the city of Sacramento just a little bit of everything. A little nationwide feel.
Excellent.
Yeah, Omaha.
Yeah,
Omaha.
yeah. Before we do anything else, Chris Watkins has a couple of updates for us. We were talking about a Kings scheduling update.
Yes.
And you just had some Zeke.
Yes, we got breaking Zeke news here. The New England Patriots are expected to sign former Cowboys star running back Ezekiel Elliott to a 1-year deal worth up to $6 million.
Up to, okay.
Yeah, up to. So you know how those NFL
What's
contracts
the guarantee on that? I wonder.
It's like play 16 games and rush for 1,000 yards, and we'll give you $3 million extra or something. So yeah, Zeke is now on the Patriots, and our very own. Do you want me to do the basketball news as well?
Sure. Did you hear about this?
I did.
Okay.
I have some.
Do you want us
thoughts.
to save it for your?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll serve this up to the people. This is from our very own Frankie Cardicelli.
Never
who
heard
breaks
of
this
him.
news. Yeah, Mark Dagnall. He's the Mark Dagnall
Coach
lookalike
Dagnall,
guy. Yeah. This is again from Frankie Cardicelli. According to a league source, the Sacramento Kings will have 10. Count them 10 nationally broadcasted games in 2023-24. Yes, let me hear it, including the team's home opener, which date in time is still TBA. For reference, last season, the Kings opened the schedule with 5 national televised games. And by the way, NBA TV does count as national televised. So
we don't know the breakdown.
Yeah.
9 NBA TVs and a TNT.
Yeah. There's going to be like 8 NBA TV games.
Probably.
No.
Yeah,
Your 2023-24 NBA TV darling Sacramento Kings.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of I would suspect a lot of NBA TV games. I don't think a lot of Thursday TNT games are in the Kings' future.
No more than
But
half.
they had 2 last
I'll
year.
bet you no more than half of those are. I'll take any.
What, they weren't on ESPN once last year, right?
You might want to save this for your bold Kings prediction.
Yeah, bold Kings prediction. There you go.
very
Yeah.
bold.
Yeah. I mean, it's
At least 5 of those will be ESPN TNT.
You think?
No? Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody want any part of
I'll say
that?
5 is 5
Yeah,
sounds good.
okay. All right.
I don't
I'll
think
take the under 5.
I think it will be at least 4. That's like my minimum of non-NBA TVs. Minimum.
So they had 2 TNT games last year. One was like the Brooklyn game and then the Knicks game. One was like at the beginning of the season. The other was right at the end.
I feel like that Knicks game, was that a late ad?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was a late ad at that. Yeah. 3. I would guess 3. I'll say
see.
4. I'll say 3 TNT and
We'll
an
see soon
ESPN
enough.
game.
And
Yeah,
then
we'll see
tomorrow
soon.
we get the. I don't know. Are you excited about this? De'Aaron Fox is tomorrow the live announcement on ESPN of the tournament schedule.
There's this thing in this world called appointment television. Doesn't happen often, but I will be tuned in for tournament schedule breakdown analysis. Who is the best team in November? The Cup will determine.
I thought you were going another way. I thought you were going to say there's such a thing as appointment TV,
And this is not it. Yeah,
That's I was being what they call sarcastic.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think the Cup is dumb.
Oh,
Of course
man.
you would think that.
Yes.
Something new, something
Oh, yeah,
exciting,
super innovative. Super innovative.
something different.
Can't wait for the players. It's going to be a blood feud. It'll be like Celtics Lakers in the 80s over the Cup, guaranteed.
Except it'll be Kings Hawks.
Yeah,
It's
that's right.
The NBA is really promoting this.
They're pushing it.
At NBA.com, they have and they've had this for weeks, like group previews stuff.
Yeah,
Come on.
Oh, that's
have
doing
some
way too
self-respect.
It's the Cup.
Yeah. No, thanks.
Chris Verlot, it's been too long. Do we have any storytime stories for today that we could?
We interrupt this program for an important announcement.
It's that time of the day where Chris Verlod gives you the stories that you need to hear. Or maybe not.
Yeah.
Story
It's
time.
been a while. It's been a while. It has been a while.
It has been a while.
It's been too long.
It's been too long. So hopefully these are good. Hopefully these are worth the wait.
Yeah.
So should we go to Florida or should we go to England?
Florida.
Always
Florida?
Florida.
Always Florida.
I feel like we've had this exact choice before.
Yes.
And we always end up in Florida one way or the other.
All right. This is in Brighton Beach, courtesy of the Tampa Bay Times. Police were called to a private condo complex in Bradenton Beach following a dispute about 2 handicapped accessible parking lots. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Sergeant Brendan Fitzgerald was one of the people and said that he was struck/pushed during the argument and said he wanted to press charges. Now, Brendan wasn't on duty as this was happening. He was just a part of it. The man he accused said that he was the one struck/pushed first and said that he also planned to press charges. During the police investigation, Fitzgerald refused to identify himself, and according to a police affidavit, kept stating that he was a Hillsbury Sheriff's sergeant, and the person taking the notes should, quote, take note of that. He was also quoted of saying, I'm a sergeant. I know the law, kid. I'm not identifying. When Fitzgerald was told he was going to be arrested for knowingly and willfully obstructing an investigation, he was quoted as saying, this is a joke. You're a joke. You can't take me for obstruction. Learn your laws, boy.
I am the law.
Fitzgerald was arrested and given a $120 bond.
So he wasn't actually a cop.
No, he was a cop.
Oh, so he was
But
just
he was part of
breaking the law.
Yes,
Okay,
he was breaking
gotcha.
the law he was a part of.
Gotcha.
Some would say an abuse of privilege, perhaps.
So were
Perhaps
they
so.
arguing about the handicap spot? Is that
Yeah,
what
there's an argument about the spot. One of them struck/pushed the other. The other one responded, and that's what the argument
seems
was about.
Did we find out which one is the true striker?
I'm guessing
this is classic he
I'm
said,
guessing
he
the
said.
guy that didn't want to identify himself.
Yes.
It wasn't
Probably-
handicaps for what
probably
they
a
were
good
doing in
point.
the handicap spots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we go to England,
England.
right across the pond.
BBC,
Yeah.
Hertfordshire, UK.
Okay.
We've all heard the urban legend that everyone swallows an average of 8 spiders a year in your sleep.
Yeah, the
correct?
nightmare stuff. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
I'd
terrible.
like to think
There's
mine's
no
a
way
little
that's
higher, but I
Same.
don't know.
There's no way that's
A lot of
true
fiber
either.
in spiders.
No way that's you say there's no way that's
There's
true.
no way that's true. What, like people are just sleeping with their mouths open and
Yeah.
not feeling? No, there's no way. 8 spiders a year?
That's just average.
No,
I've never watched Spider-Man.
there's
So you
no-
don't think a spider has crawled into someone's mouth?
not somebody's, but just like everybody's mouth 7 times a year. No, there's no way. 8 times. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's no way.
Well,
There's no
for
way.
some people it's 3, and other people's it's
It's like 12.
14.
Yeah, no, no.
Why,
Well,
it's an average.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. He has said he's
Some
not great
people
with numbers.
eat like 20. Yeah, maybe that's it.
well, postal worker Chris Cowsley said that a spider did crawl in his mouth while he was sleeping. Last month, Cowsley woke up choking in the early hours. While he was being taken to the hospital, an ambulance paramedic told him it looked like his uvula had been bitten by a spider. That's that thing in the back of your
Sure, the little
like the
floppy,
tonsil thingy.
Yeah.
At the hospital, doctors were not sure what caused his breathing problems, and a specialist did suggest the paramedic spider bite theory might have merit. Now, if you're getting a little scared about this,
I am.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Dr. Matt Wilkinson from Cambridge University's Department of Zoology says the spider swallowing myth is just that.
Oh.
He said very few spiders in Britain can bite you, and the only possible one is the false widow. It's pretty big, and you'd wake up if it was in your throat. He also said it's not going to crawl in there. There's air going in and out, and it's just not going in there. When Dr. Wilkinson was told that the staff had suggested a spider bite, he said, "Show me the evidence, the remains of the spider. Show me the bite. I cannot imagine a spider did this."
Uh-oh.
So there's still some controversy over whether there was a spider bite in
There's
the night.
no way. I mean, I'm not saying that this specific situation wasn't that, but
Also, feel like this myth started in Florida,
had to.
right?
Like, yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's somewhere where clearly there's
Mhm.
tons of spiders, like either Florida or like Australia.
You know how you can find out whatever you want to find out about a spider?
No.
Check
How?
the website.
Is that it? Show over now.
So, J
You
Mars,
didn't know that?
what do you guys have
That's
coming up
better,
today on the show?
That's a lot better than an Abadoobie they do.
Yeah,
that wasn't my joke.
Yeah, but
That
Dabba
wasn't-
Doobie.
that wasn't-
We have the continued drama of James Harden and his father, Daryl Morey, and how that whole situation is going. We have some thoughts. Is Trey Lance never going to be a good quarterback in Kyle Shanahan's system?
Boy, oh
One
boy.
ESPN former NFL quarterback seems to think so. We'll talk about that as well.
What do you think of Dave's theory that the Kings should pursue? It's not really his theory, but I'm trying to get people to think it is. The Kings
Some people
should
are
pursue
saying-
James Harden.
Oh, that's 100% Dave's theory, first of all. And listen, we actually have a segment coming up. Hey, James said he's going to be in the best shape of his life, focused. If that were the case, let's say that's a real thing,
Uh-huh.
would you pursue him? I think that's a conversation we'll be having. But yeah, no, Dave has been hot on the trails of acquiring James Harden for about 5 seasons now. So
How's he
now might be
really?
the time. It's crazy to think he's like the one guy in this entire city that is pro James Harden.
Interesting.
I don't even know what it would take to get James Harden here. Like, even No, thanks. I'd
rather
so
be
out.
bitten in the uvula by a spider.
100%.
Than have James
I'll
Harden.
say a couple new strip clubs.
Yeah.
Definitely a couple new wing joints.
I don't think Sacramento was built for James Harden.
I don't either. I think James Harden would be so bored here he might win a championship.
How about that? J-Mars and Gary Sharp with you next. Thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Stick around for Gary Sharp, J-Mars next right here, Sactown Sports.
Need the latest on your Kings?
And Nerlens, in all fairness, I mean, he can protect the basket. Very unselfish player.
Looking for the freshest scoop on the Niners?
Trey Lance not being on the roster is an option for them.